Hey everybody! We're back and we are live tonight. I'm Fancy and this is the Good Wives Network. And this is our first episode of the Crime Lines. This is going to be a series where we just kind of talk about different things in the different headlines of crime. Sarah will be joining me here in a minute. Hi, Lori. How are you? Hi, guys. Hey. Hey, everybody. Hey, Alicia. Just waiting on Sarah. How's everybody tonight? How's hump day going for you guys? This has been a crazy week already, and we're only 3 days in. Yes, it's Wednesday, baby. It's only Wednesday. Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing good, guys. Hi, hi, hi. Keep tapping and liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing. It's helping us get out there. Oh, thank you, Sage. Or Savage. Thank you so much. I missed you guys too. Yeah, tired. Yeah. Anyway, just waiting for Miss Sarah to join us. My Sanderson sisters are here, huh? That's adorable. Hey, Danae. Hey, Heather Lynn. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Keep tapping and sharing. Let's see if we can get this to 200 before we get going. It'd be really great. I would love that. We haven't really done a nighttime live for a while, so we're kind of excited. But like I was telling you guys, this is our first episode of Crime Lines, and in these episodes, there'll probably be more of our evening things that we do, and it'll usually be just some updates on all the headlines of the crime right now. So yes, I am back live, Henderson. Isn't that awesome? I'm super excited to be back. I am feeling great today. My hair is all cute. I got my new computer. I'm doing well. I just need Sarah to come. Okay, let me message her again. How are you guys over here on YouTube? Everybody doing good today? Have you had a good week? Anything new happen? Okay. Oh, okay. Where are you? I didn't see you. Oh, there she is. Okay. Invite. There we go. She's coming. She's coming. She's coming. I invited her. There she is. There she is.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I was like, I'm just waiting for my invite.
Well, it wasn't showing that you were watching, so I didn't know.
You got nothing. I didn't get an invite on nothing.
Well, I just sent it.
I got it.
Okay, guys, can you guys hear her okay over here on YouTube? Just checking to make sure you guys can hear her okay.
Hey guys, I see. Hi Sarah. Hey Amy. Hey Counting Stars. Good evening, everyone.
Hey Amy. Hey Brixio. Hey Boston Chick.
How's everybody doing this evening? Hey Miss Mace. Hey Boston Chick. Everybody having a good evening?
I hope so. I've had a good day today. We've had a really great day today. We added some new merch.
There we go. We got Miss Danae in the house. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Danae. Happy birthday to you.
Alicia, Henderson. We got everybody
In here, yeah. Hi, Gina Free. All right, guys, keep sharing and tapping and liking and all that good stuff so it gets out to the algorithm. We've got a lot we want to talk about tonight. We have had a crazy couple of weeks in true crime.
Yeah.
Like,
Since April 1st, everything popped off April 1st. I was like, if I'd been in court on April 1st, I would have been like, nice try, Judge. April Fool's Day. See you later.
Yeah, because it was crazy. We got Nick's denial of his appeal, the last one he had in Springfield, and so now he has petitioned to move to the Supreme Court. We had a raid on P-Diddy. We had the Alex Murdaugh. He ended up getting another 40 years. Was it another 40 on top of the 27, or was this 27 on top of the 40?
No.
40 on top of the 27, plus his 2 life sentences.
I told you that the problem I really had with this case, the thing that I really wanted to investigate and look into was the polygraph.
Yes.
So I've been digging on that, and I did get some information on that we can get into when we pick him up. But we've and then also with the
happy birthday, Gina, for freedom to your son. Yeah, keep going, sir. I'm sorry.
Also with the P. Diddy case, it wasn't just local city and state and feds. It was all of them, including Homeland Security, which is what the big thing is.
Yeah.
The fact that Homeland Security did this, and they organized these raids so that they would happen simultaneously at the same time, so nobody would have a chance to hide any type of evidence.
Yeah, that's like Godfather style, right?
Somebody had to give him a heads up because he just happened to be in the Caribbean that day.
Yeah, and he happened to send a plane with nothing on it to somewhere where there's no extradition. Just a plane. Just the whole plane. Just the whole plane. No passengers, just the plane, all by itself. So,
we had the eclipse.
Yes.
We had the passing of O.J. Simpson.
Yes.
So there's been quite a bit. I was actually looking at all that. I wanted to play, because you and I have not had a chance to talk today.
Right.
Kind of, it gave like a broad scope of what we would be covering, and basically I think our plan was just to go over what the main topics of conversation have been, what has really gone on legally in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because so much has happened. Of course, we have the whole the unfolding saga of Gypsy Rose and her divorce, and it's just been so much. The first week literally felt like 2 weeks in one.
Yeah.
Because we would wake up in the morning and there would be huge, breaking news, and by afternoon there was another breaking news story.
Right. It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. The
second week flew by, and here we are, over halfway.
Thank you guys so much. Oh my goodness, you guys are so sweet.
And everybody's got their taxes.
Yes.
Hopefully filed or filed extensions on.
I got a little behind.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, they owe me money anyway, except for the state. The state, hopefully this year we won't owe the state like we have for the last 2 years, because when they did the unemployment bullcrap thing where they did all the overpayments for unemployment with the extra unemployment and stuff, yeah, we got screwed because Kentucky did not adopt the $10,000 500 credit that the federal did. So we ended up, for the first time ever for the last 2 years, we've owed $3 grand a year to the state.
Well,
And
I
I'm blown
did.
away.
Listen, I got screwed over. I'll tell you what I did, and I know a lot of people can relate to this. But back in
It's okay, Cindy.
2008, I took out a student loan,
Yeah.
and I did not get it as at a fixed rate.
Oh,
And
geez,
if
that's
you
bad.
remember what happened in 2008, the
Right.
economy
Crashed. Yeah.
So that I'll just put it. And I'm not the only one. The math ain't mathing, but I borrowed $5,000. I
Yeah.
paid back $8,000. The last bill I got from them said I still owed them $12,000.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So for the last two times I have filed taxes, the university took my federal tax return,
Yeah, they did that to me one time too. When I,
student loan,
yeah,
and I know lots of people. I looked into it. They were just like, yeah, I borrowed a couple $1,000s and paid back, and now it says I owe 20 or 30,000. It's
yeah,
just crazy. Don't
it's
get it.
outrageous. Yeah, like okay, so my student loans come to like $60,000, and but with interest and all of that and everything, it's like 120,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So no, I haven't been following the Madeline Soto case. I did see it pop on my For You page today on TikTok, and I think I shared something about it, but I haven't really been into it much. We've been following so many cases lately that it's just there's too much to follow. Like I've got Delphi and Crystal Rogers, and now we've got this little boy that's gone missing in our area, and his or not missing is unalived in our area, and both mom and stepfather have been arrested now. I mean, it's just crazy. And then there's Murdaugh and Gallo, and it just goes on and on right now.
No, I have not heard of the Jennings 8 in Louisiana.
can can we have the math ain't mathin' on a merch shirt? Abso-freaking-lutely. By the way, today we dropped brand new merch. It is the Shitty Parents Raising Shitty Kids merchandise. And I think it's so cute. I did it with like a little unicorn poop emoji. I love it. It's so cute. We've got a cup, we've got shirts for men and women, and we're gonna do some other stuff with it
So
too.
we know what story is behind it, and it's hilarious. But I'm just wondering, like, what parent is gonna want to wear that shirt? And
I will. Because it says you're a shitty parent who raised shitty kids, not I'm a shitty parent who raised shitty kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I could probably gift that to some people.
Right. I could gift it to a lot of people. But do I ship to Australia? I'm working on our international shipping stuff right now. I'm trying to work out the shipping calculator for the website and everything, and that has always been hard for me because I have to sit and weigh everything and figure it out. But with the Printful that we've been using, it kind of tells me the shipping costs, so I will see, Cindy, if I can. Our book will be available in Australia. I know that. And if not, then we'll figure it out. I can order one and send it to you if you can always PayPal us or whatever. So, and guys, just remember we do have our super chats rolling. We've got all of that good stuff going. So, it helps us every time that you guys donate in any which way that you do. It helps us to continue doing what we do here because we do everything here pretty much on a volunteer basis. um, we're just now getting to a point where we're starting to see the profit of the 3 years, that we've been trying to get the network launched. So it's been a 7-year process for the company. And so we're just now getting to that break even point, where we're not spending all of our money to keep the doors open.
Yeah, I mean, everybody says, if you're gonna do business, you're not gonna look at profits for 3 to 5 years.
Right. So, yes, we are going to have books that you can buy physical copies. We're also working on doing some sort of autograph copies for people as well. So, our book will be available for sure the paperback should be available April 30th. The ebook will be available April 30th. I think the hardback is going to take us a little longer. And if we have to push back for just maybe a week or so, we may have to because of my computer going down. And Colleen has had a sickness, and I was sick all last week. I didn't get to edit as much of the transcripts as I wanted to, and we're still working on writing a chapter about the updated thank you so much updated chromosome disorder, and I wanted to talk about that for a few minutes, okay, because we kind of dropped it out there, and then I got put in Facebook jail for 30 freaking days, and I couldn't go into the groups and explain anything. And so
things, you need to reset your goal. And number two, the link for the merch is in the bio, and it's through Amazon.
okay,
So yeah, reset your goal.
I don't know how to do so.
Your goal?
Yeah, I don't know, it just keeps giving me like an automatic thing, so I
You
don't.
have to go in, use the gift yourself, and pick the gift out yourself if you want.
Oh, okay.
What groups are
There.
we in on Facebook? What do you mean? We have our Good Wives Network.
Oh, yes, we have the Good Wives Guide, or the Good Wives Net, True Crime. We have a Good Wives fan club, and then I know for certain, as if you're talking about like the Gypsy groups, we have three that we're in. We have one that Pink Cat Sarah and some of my mods run called Gypsy Blanchard should be back in prison.
Gypsy should be in prison.
Gypsy should be in prison. I know I'm in the Gypsy. Is a great actress and should have done life or something like that. And the other one is Gypsy is a schmurderer and deserves life. Those are the groups. And I think I have like the For the Love of True Crime, which is one that I'm just a mod for them. They asked me a long time ago. So,
as well, right?
well, we don't have a by proxy one. That the Good Wives Net True Crime one is the one that's attached to our page.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. So, those are all there. The links to everything for us, if you just go to the goodwivesnetwork.com, you'll find everything there. And then on all socials, besides this one, we know why, it's under Good Wives Net. So you can join our Patreon, you can subscribe to Buy Us a Coffee, all of that good stuff. And we're working on subscription services for all of you guys all over here. We want to do some special stuff for YouTube. We want to do some special stuff for TikTok. So we're working on all of that right now. Just give us a little while to get those things working. But since I brought up the chromosome disorder, I really do want to talk about that for about just a few minutes, because we've done a great live about it. Colleen was really great in explaining it. Sarah and I did a live where we walked you from 2000 to 2011 in Gypsy's medical records, and they were looking for the chromosome disorder from her birth, okay, because it is genetic, and this is an actual disorder that she has. And yes, it can explain all of her medical conditions currently and in the past. She still has eye problems. She still has problems walking. She still has low muscle tone unless she works out and, gets some physical therapy and things. There's things she can do. And the reason that I'm killing it now. Oh, thank you, Subi. You're so sweet. The reason that, first of all, it doesn't have a specific name. Okay, you guys have been asking the name. It is a micro deletion of the 1q to 1.1 chromosome. She has a substantial deletion. And this chromosome disorder can be mild, where you see almost no symptoms, or severe. And so Mia Blanchard, Gypsy's sister, and Nicolette, they both have some of the qualities of the facial features and the sunken eyes and things like that. But Gypsy has what I would call, and what Colleen considered, a more moderate case. So she's got the eye problems, the ear problems, those frequent freaking ear tubes that she was having put in that Colleen was bitching about on the podcast. Yeah, now we know why. Because this is an actual thing. These are symptoms. If you go to rarechromo.org, you can read the 11-page pamphlet that they have on it. On that first page, if you look at the person on the first page, that person looks almost identical to Gypsy Rose, because one of the actual things of this disorder is microcephaly, which is small head. That's mentioned in her file all throughout her entire lifetime. But it was not until 2011 that they were able to have enough advancements in technology that her doctor, Dr. Le Pouchon, who had been seeing her since 2009, when Beckerman moved her care from Springfield to Kansas City, and she ran this test in 2011. It is a genetic testing. It was done through a blood test. It was proven to be found true. It was a substantial microdeletion. We even put out the paperwork that told you exactly how much of a deletion she has. And it explains that Dee Dee was tested. She does not have this. So it comes from Rod's side of the family, which is one of the reasons why I think that they have so heavily tried to hide this information. I just think they don't want you to know that the sickness in the family might be their side, because it also has severe mental health issues linked to it. Some of the behaviors we're seeing today.
Family,
yes.
The Blanchards and the Petries, there's no forks in the family tree. They are all related down the line. Everyone's related to everyone.
They are. And Christy admitted that Rod and Christy are related. Titania is related on the Petrie side. I think even Dee Dee and them are related somewhere way down the line. So, okay, so somebody said, why are the medical records just now coming out? I've had them for 6 years, I think, 6-7 years. I got the first ones when I sat down in Christy's living room, and those were the ones that HBO collected before her plea deal, by the way, before her plea deal. And Mommy Dead and Dearest was out before Nick's trial. They rushed that shit to make sure that they would sink the fuck out of him and she would get her plea deal. That's my opinion. In my opinion, allegedly, for entertainment and educational purposes only, that's my opinion.
I mean, how's he supposed to get a fair trial when they've already released interviews and a complete whole documentary?
Right. So this chromosome disorder, the reason why we just now came out with it, was because for a long time, Titania, Dee Dee's ex-best friend, was our head of medical research, and she was holding on to the results because Colleen had the first preliminary results that had said that possibly, can I send some private photos? Yes, you can, Cindy, no problem. And no problem. And so
no, Gypsy was not pregnant with Nick's baby.
No, we'll talk about that in a second, okay? Hold on, we'll talk about that in a second, because I've been posting about that, and Natasha's been talking about it, and I do want to address that tonight. But here's the thing, okay? So we didn't get the results to this until Titania left and turned all the records over to Colleen. When that happened, we were no longer even considering the chromosome disorder because Colleen thought she'd ruled it out. Well, when we came back to this case recently, and I sat down with the investigator out of Tarrant County, Texas, and he explained to me, why we should call it medical child abuse over the other names and everything, I started to have a epiphany of things with this. And I told him at that time, I even said, I go, okay, I can accept medical child abuse as a definition, and I get that, and that makes it so much more simple. But well, you'll have to ask her stepmother why they were handed out like candy, because she gave them to everybody. So, but I said to him in that interview, I said, I know that what you guys think this is, that you've never seen the files. Dr. Feldman had not even seen the files, even though he felt comfortable going on and saying that this was the worst case of medical child abuse he'd ever seen. Yet he never saw it. He never saw the files. He never talked to Gypsy. And you cannot diagnose a caregiver with MDP, or medical child abuse, factitious disorder imposed upon another, whatever you want to call it, unless you actually speak to them. So she's never been diagnosed with anything. In Gypsy's little book, she talks about schizophrenia. She wasn't diagnosed with that. She called her bipolar. She wasn't diagnosed with that. So she's not been diagnosed with any of this. So I told him that, and I got off the phone that day, and I told Colleen, I said, I really want you to go back and look at this chromosome disorder one more time, because I swear that Titania was really adamant about the fact that these results were pretty cut and dry. These there was no questioning it. And she goes, yeah, but I remember. I said, yeah, but remember you fought with her about it, and I think we've got new documents in the files that she wasn't giving to you before. And that is exactly what happened. That night is the same night that I found the HBO letter from HBO, Aaron Lee Carr and HBO, to Rod and Christie, telling them that they were providing them with a USB to give to the attorney before her plea deal was ever even struck. He knew they were already working on that narrative to be the only narrative you were ever going to hear. Because when she took that plea, all investigation stopped.
Listen, he said, included is a USB for your computer and everything. So Christy had all of this information all these years, and then sent these records to you to send you on a wild goose
chase, and then tried to say that I forged a document to get them.
No, it was.
Well, first it was I forged the document to get the interrogation video. When she found out that wasn't the truth, then she decided to go with, well, she forged the documents to get the medical records. That's really funny, because they're in my inbox, sent to me from you in Messenger, with your name on the requesting signature and the requesting line. So I'd sure love to know what I forged to get those, babe. But hey, keep going. So they basically sunk Nick before he ever even got to trial. Okay? Ever. And that's one problem, okay, with his trial. But the other problem centers around, and I've been talking about this since he first filed his first appeal, his ability to deliberate or not. And that is a very, very fine line. Oh, thank you. That one's so cute. That is a very, very fine line. Yeah, right? Yeah. I have forged documents to get the medical records that she handed out to everyone like candy. You're right.
I believe that she handed them out as a method of distraction.
It was. That's exactly what she did to me. Because when I got the interrogation video, and she didn't know what oh, hold on. Okay, so now I can set up a new goal. Oh my god, you guys are so cute. I didn't know how to do this. Is adorable. So let's see here. We want let's go for the rabbit.
You pick the gift and you pick the numbers, how many you want. They already achieved it. You only picked one.
I know I don't know how to do this. Okay, hold on. No, I'm going to change it again. Hold on. Unpin. I don't want that one. Can I change it? Edit. Okay, good. All right, now I know how to do it, guys. I got it. All right. So let's go with heart puffs. And we want 100 of them. Yes. There we go. Okay, I did it. I can be taught.
Your setup is different than mine, so I can't really tell you.
Right. So, okay. So, yeah, I think that, I didn't get the medical records, most of them, until after I received, oh, thank you so much. After I received the interrogation video, and I sent Christy and my team my preliminary notes on it. And then magically, even though Gypsy no longer wanted to do anything, Christy messages me and she's like, hey, we need to get the records. I said, yeah, we still need to get them, but is Gypsy even going to do it? She said, absolutely. She still wants to know exactly what happened to her. Well, let me explain something to you folks. Gypsy's always known exactly what happened to her.
Well, what's this mess going on with this pregnancy thing with Natasha?
Okay. Yes. Okay. A long time ago, it was a rumor going around originally that Gypsy had told Nicholas that she was pregnant with his baby from the movie theater incident where he couldn't perform according to her, but she likes to what is it, not demonize, demean the men when she throws them away. She likes to do that. She's doing that with Ryan right now. Do you guys see the patterns that I'm talking about here? Because I have pattern recognition like no tomorrow. It's one of my special things from being autistic. Pattern recognition. And so she said that he couldn't perform, but she also said that wasn't her first time, even though she lied and told him it was. But since the first one of my mom is so sick, I need you to unalive her for mercy, right? Exactly. But then that didn't work. He wouldn't do it, and he kept trying to get her out of it. He kept trying to talk her out of it. He kept telling other people he didn't want to do it. So the final straw that broke the camel's back was her letting him know that she went to the hospital to have her feeding tube changed again. And we'll talk about that feeding tube. No, she did not have it changed every two times a year her entire effing life. I have all the records of her going, and the only time she ever had that thing treated or seen was in the emergency room when it got infected because she wasn't taking care of it because she's kind of nasty. She's a little nasty. She don't have good hygiene. That's why her teeth are rotted.
They're not. If it's not being used, it's not being
flushed. Right.
It's not being flushed. Bacteria is gonna back up in there.
Right. So I want to talk. Okay. So she tells Nicholas that because Dee Dee forced her to go have her feeding tube changed again, even though in the text messages she's the one who says that she decided to go have it done so they wouldn't have to do it again for a while. She tells him that caused her to lose their baby girl. And according to Natasha, who was where he told this to, is in an email to her, and I remembered it from back in the day, okay, that he still mourns this child. He named that child. And that, my friends, is how manipulative she really is.
She knew that he had wanted a daughter. And I don't know if you guys recall, but in the prison confessions, she said something that just really disturbed me with this daughter thing. Now this is what Gypsy's claiming, so we know it's a lie. Probably 99% of everything she says is a lie.
Yep.
But she said the first time she broke up with him was because he told her that he wanted to have a daughter with her, and then when the daughter got old enough, she was to turn the daughter over to him so that this daughter of theirs could become his smeck slave.
I don't think that's what he said, though. It's not that.
Well, I think he said that. No, but did Gypsy say it in the documentary?
Right.
Yes.
No, I mean, did he say something along those lines? He did. I can't. What, honey? Hi, my sweet boy. That's my boy. I do think he said something like that, but we don't have context as to what that actual conversation was. You silly boy.
Somebody got a haircut.
No, he's just been laying down.
I got a haircut
store. Emily, I'm live. Can you come get your son, please? It's okay. Everybody's just happy to see him. They all love him.
Come on, buddy. We love your haircut at the haircut store. It looks good. Your hair looks good.
Okay, go to mama. Go to mama. I gotta finish my live. Go to mama. You gotta get ready for bed. Have a hug and a kiss. You're gonna go see his papa. I know, he always wants to see my friends. That's my sweet little 3-year-old grandson.
You know, and back to the conversation about him at the movie theater. She
Yeah.
says in the prison confessions, at one point she says, that was the first male genitalia I had ever seen besides my grandfather's. And then,
Which I don't believe.
No, exactly. But it was a way for her to throw her grandfather farther, under the bus. Just another jab.
He's back.
To say that about Nick wanting to
Right.
do these things to their daughter.
Come on.
Right.
So that's why she purposely said, it was a
Okay,
girl.
go with your mommy, please. I love you. Good night. Say good night to everybody. Say good night. Say good night. Wave to everybody, Wyatt. Say good night.
Good night, Wyatt.
Okay, take this child.
He won't leave.
He won't leave me.
I
Wyatt! No, you gotta let me go. Oh, thank XOXO for the super sticker. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for the heart.
Here,
or
here.
the-
Yes.
Come on.
Go with him. He does. He loves his nanny. He loves his nanny. Yeah, we're holding on the GR talk. Yes, definitely. He's like a little koala bear. He like grabs right. We call him a little monkey because he like grabs onto us and like.
Yeah, like Ruby Bobby.
Yeah, he's hilarious. He's so funny. Just love him to death. Okay, so back to Gypsy and this conversation. I just don't know what the other parts of this conversation is because, she says in Lifetime Confessions to her psychiatrist who's supposed to be evaluating her, and she's clearly lying when she says she'd never heard of BD, you know what, before Nick. That's funny, since Dan testified at his appeal that you absolutely did. Much before him. In fact, Dan says you brought it to him, baby. Now, I don't know whether I believe that or not, and I don't know how experienced she had been before that, because we do know she was already caught at a convention once, right? So, right, she was with Dan in 2011. I don't think that was the first time she was encountered with Dan, to be honest with you. There is an incident that happened in 2009, and we don't know what man that is. I assume it's Dan, but it could have been someone else. Oh my Lord!
I'm trying.
This child!
This is all you want.
Here he is again.
I think right here.
You're going to sit right there. You gotta go to bed, young man. It's late.
He took a big nap.
I know. You're not stuck. Your mommy can get you. Come on. Go with your mother,
I'm
please.
way stuck.
Okay. Well, can you go with your mother, please? Your mother can unstick you.
He's like, your problem now, Nanny. I'm stuck.
I know. You guys have no idea. All right. Good night, my young man. I love you so much. No.
We're watching TV in Mommy's room.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, sack of potatoes.
Ugh. So my husband has been buying these sodas at Kroger. They're soda, but they're like watermelon, and one is pineapple guava. There's like a mango one. They are so freaking good.
You want to go watch a movie with Papa?
No, not water, soda, but no caffeine.
No. It's time to get ready for bed. Quietly.
Probably do have sugar then.
Yes, but real sugar, not processed.
Not Nanny.
Oh my Lord!
Why do you want Nanny so bad? I want this.
Because I'm on the video, and he's a ham.
You're going to fall, sir.
You're gonna fall. You're being a goofball. Yeah, he's gonna be a ham. Can you please?
Well, I can't get you up the stairs without screaming and hollering.
Wyatt, you need to go now.
No.
Yes.
I'm really stuck.
You are not. Oh my God! Now he's like on my back. Emily, please help me.
Come on, you sack of potatoes.
I did not catch Ken's mom on Nina's live, but I have absolutely no respect for Raina whatsoever. So
Okay, give her a kiss and then we can go.
Just some replay.
Give her a kiss. You're not getting in the chair with her.
I love you.
And Raina was
Say bye to everybody. Say bye bye. Say good night. Okay, good night. Goodbye. No, you're not getting back in this chair. No, no.
He's actually on his feet.
I'm sorry. My house is chaotic.
No, not your daddy. I want my
I'm so sorry.
Rita, little turkey butt. We're going up the stairs. Come on.
Hold on, Sarah. Hang on. Nobody can hear you. So.
He's trying to flip it. He's negotiating.
I know he's negotiating. Win-win negotiation. Oh my Lord! So he went. Okay, so he had ear tubes put in, right? And they went to the doctor yesterday, whatever day, today, to get them taken out. And the lady was working on his right ear. Now, mind you, he is 3 years old, and he goes, "Okay, can you get the stuff out of my left ear now, please?" And the lady like stood and looked at my husband, and he's like, she goes, "That seems a little advanced. He's how old? 3. Yeah. So anyway,
Yes, they could hear me. They could hear me.
no, but the YouTube couldn't hear you.
Oh,
That's why I was waiting for you to say it.
okay.
Yeah.
So, if we were back talking about that, let me get us back on track here. We are back to the pregnancy.
It's like he's a natural for now. We're talking about things too awful for his precious soul. Yes, we are. Yeah, so we're talking about that, but so she tries to fake that, and that's what she basically used as the like inciting incident. And yes, I've seen Ken's mom talk. Like I said, I'm not real thrilled with Raina. In fact, her and her son and one of her daughters all are the ones who caused all kinds of havoc on Facebook back in the day, and then got mad at me when the media outlets wanted to know who he was and had all kinds of misinformation. They said he had a whole ass another wife. They were accusing him of drug driving. That was a whole nother Ken Urker, like a 60-year-old man, and it wasn't him. But his mom is also who released, her roommate is who put out Natasha Cooper's mugshot for the first time. So I just, no, I don't have respect for Raina. And any woman that wants her son to be attached to someone that has proven herself time and time again to not be a good human, you know, in my book, that means you're not a good human either.
Well, I mean, she wants her son to commit adultery with
Right.
a convicted murderer.
Right. Yes.
I mean, guys, she is married still, you know?
Right.
And I did read today the article that was out that Ryan has finally raised a comment on, saying that now he's releasing the information that right after Gypsy got out, when they were just getting together and getting on their feet in January, mid-January, just a couple weeks after her release, that Ken called Christy.
I don't think he called Christy. I think he called Gypsy.
Well, this. I'm just
Allegedly, in my opinion, for entertainment and educational purposes only, I bet he called her. I think she's saying Christy on that podcast so that she could cover.
Right. Well, in the People magazine article, he says, you know, that he felt like that phone call was the beginning of the end, and
yeah,
you know, it happened right away.
Yep.
And he said that Ken just wanted to clarify some things with Christy and set the record straight,
not what happened. No, and now she's made up all these different things about her husband, soon to be ex-husband. Like Love Shack Sarah says over here, I need to clean my fridge. I'm a food hoarder. She thinks sleeping with a human furnace is grounds for divorce. Wait until she goes through menopause. And FYI, Gyp, the world is full. Like seriously, her grounds for so first it was he won't let me spend enough time with my daddy. Is that what you're calling Ken these days?
Well, like I said, that a lot of people don't know. Rod works on the boats, guys. He works 30 days.
That's right.
Off 30 days. He was not home when this incident occurred when she left with Mia.
Right. Well, that was already set up too. Okay, she was already going to sneak out with Mia in her while he was sleeping. Then they supposedly, first it was that he chased her into the bathroom and pounded on the door and scared her so much that she had to call Mia to come rescue her in the middle of the fucking night. And oh my God.
Didn't call 911 and say she was scared.
Meanwhile, Ken was already in town.
Right. He'd already
flown in. So then when that falls apart, and she realizes, oh crap, nobody believes my bullshit, she's gonna go for the most absurd shit ever. Well, okay, prison princess, you can't sleep in a bed where a man is hot next to you? You did 8 years in prison. I guarantee you that bed is better than the prison bed. And did we forget that you said that you slept in the same bed as your really large mama for 23 years and telling me that wasn't freaking warm for you? Oh, wait a minute. He snores. Oh, God. You know what's really funny about that? I thought that you slept with a CPAP for all those years. That's much noisier than, a snoring man. And the food hoarding. Oh, it reminded her so much of her mother. It wasn't the fact that he looked almost exactly like her mother that reminded her of her mother. No. It was the food hoarding.
It's absolutely ridiculous. And then she files a restraining order.
No. We need to explain that. Okay. Okay, because she didn't file a restraining order. She didn't do it. It is customary in the state of Louisiana.
Right. What I'm trying to say is it was done as basis for grounds for the divorce.
Yes. But in Louisiana, where she filed, being in the middle of an eclipse and being on heavy pain medications from a recent nose surgery, I don't know, but anyway, doesn't matter if you believe that or not.
It was very timing for me, I thought, because she likes as much attention as possible, so everybody was focused on the eclipse when she did it, so obviously she did it intentionally, because she literally did it at like 1:56, which is right smack in the middle.
And Mercury's in retrograde. But anyway, okay. So in the state of Louisiana, we did some research, and basically when anyone files for divorce in the state of Louisiana, there is a waiting period that they have to go through before they're even granted a divorce. And during that period of time, the Louisiana courts automatically issue a restraining order to both parties. So this is, again, the media trying to make this something it's not, because it sells shit. And she sells her story to TMZ as the abused wife who was an abused kid, and now she's an abused wife. Well, it always was abuse with her. But you know what? Still not abuse. She still said what? Control.
Yeah,
Still control. I don't think she knows what abuse is. I don't think she understands what that is. There is controlling and abuse, and they are not the same thing. They can be the same thing, but they are not. But I posted a video on all of our social medias explaining the rules and the regulations of Louisiana divorce court. We provided you a sample divorce petition, and it's not her perdition, it's blank, obviously. And then we also provided you the actual laws that state about these restraining orders and why they actually do it. It's to protect their assets so that nobody can clean out a bank account. It's to limit their contact with one another. It's for their safety on both sides while they have to wait, I think 180 days or some shit for the divorce.
180 days.
Yeah. So that is what was happening with the restraining orders. He didn't file his and she filed hers and all of that. No, that's what they do. That's how they handle divorce down there in that state. Now, it's not that way in every state, but in Louisiana, that's their rules.
It's a way, like I was trying to explain, it's a way to give her grounds.
It is, but it's not. I mean, it's not. Because it's automatically given to them. Her grounds for it did not have anything to do with why she was granted a restraining order.
Well, I did read the actual divorce today. I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I have not.
But I read the actual divorce.
Yes, she filed for spousal support.
It says in it that he is at fault for the divorce, and therefore he should have to pay her spousal support. And I had a question about that because I thought that Louisiana was a no-fault state.
I believe it is a no-fault divorce state. And, it doesn't make any sense for the guy who is now got, a teacher's salary at best, if he's even still teaching. And she's out here with millions and more deals coming. But you know what I did say? Okay, look. I do not think that Ryan Anderson is a good guy. Okay, I don't. First of all, any person that saw Mommy Dead and Dearest and thought that she was cute and that they should message her because she was cute, that's fucking weird, because there is nothing in Mommy Dead and Dearest that even remotely makes her cute and attractive to a man. Okay? To a man. And yes, I do believe she cheated on him. And yes, I do believe he can countersue her on the grounds of adultery. I have not seen the actual documents, Sarah, so can you tell us a little bit about it?
I will send them to you. And another thing, just so you guys know, their next court hearing date is May 23rd.
Yes.
I really don't expect anything to happen at that time. I believe he will just respond to her complaint, and he will file his entry. He'll have his attorney file his entry of appearance, and he'll respond, and then it'll get set for another court date. Right.
Because they have a long waiting period. They can't just go out and get it right away, Yes, and I'm sure he has a lawyer and all of that. Yes. The only thing is, he didn't get fired because of his relationship with Gypsy Rose. He got fired from his last job for inappropriate behaviors with children. Now, it wasn't SA, but it was inappropriate actions with children, and his wife's name was mentioned, but that wasn't what it was. And then on top of that, this is a guy who knew exactly what he was getting into, because 12 days before the wedding, she was still hung up on Ken. And according to Rachel Garlick, her former best friend, the reason he stayed around was because Melissa Moore from Lifetime Confessions got him to do so to honor his contract. So he's getting paid too. That's why he plugged Lifetime, to sit here and be like, make sure you watch Lifetime, our new show, so that you can see exactly what happened. Oh, bullshit. We ain't going to see shit.
And just another thing, let me point out to you guys, people talking about the teaching job. He was teaching at a private Christian school. They do not have a union, and they can fire anybody for any reason whatsoever. And since they are not unionized, it's a private school, usually chartered through a church. So their rules are different.
Right. And apparently it wasn't enough to pull his license. Now, there's been some things about his license in the past that we've talked about, but I saw Great Exotic Joe commenting on Ryan's post. That was hilarious. But I mean, it's not Joe Exotic. Obviously, he's still in prison and he doesn't have access to social media, I would think. But how is Joe Exotic still in prison for not doing anything But Miss Rose is out here wandering in the streets.
Yeah, and another thing, I posted in our group that I help run, Gypsy should be back in prison, is that, I'm getting so sick and tired of people saying that girl this and this girl that. Guys, she is 34 years old. She
Yep.
was 24 years old when she murdered her mother and set up a disabled guy to take the fall for it. She is nearly middle-aged. She is nearly, this woman's pushing 40. But because she's small in stature and she plays that high-pitched voice and she plays that little baby voice game, people will always see her as a girl.
Yes.
And it's so frustrating because you're pushing near 40 and you want to complain about your husband snoring and being too hot in bed.
Right.
Really?
Right. All right. Well, we've spent quite a bit of time talking about Miss Rose. I didn't want to spend more than a few minutes talking about her, but there's always just so much because she can't keep her mouth shut and she can't stay out of media, no matter what anyone does. Christy has lost complete control. I know that. I can see it. And it's just, you can see that Christy's beat down and broken. And that Banfield show, she looked like straight trash. I was like, I watched it and I was blown away by what Christy looked like that day. That's not her at all. She is extreme. I can see the extreme stress in her face. It's not going well. What they planned, what they wanted, what they were thinking was going to happen when she came out, it's not gone the way they wanted to. It's not.
And if she were anyone else, guys, she would have already been violated on her parole by now.
Yes, she would have. All right. So moving on, I wanted to talk about Nick's appeal real quick. So that way we can get that out of the way because there was some interesting things inside this appeal that I really found interesting. Now, again, what I was explaining is his appeal, from what I can tell, they're not appealing like the fact that he should just, get a whole new trial and all of that. They're not doing that. That's not what they're going for. What this appears to be.
You're referring to the Supreme Court?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
What they seem to be hammering home, and this is, where did I put it so we could see it on YouTube? That's where I put them so that you could see the pictures of them, not just the thingy. I think I gotta find where I put them. So just give me a second.
But TikTok.
I did, but I also posted just the 3 pages so people could see them. But I have to see where it is. Hold on. I think I put it here. No, dang it. Where did I put just the 3? Maybe it's on my regular Facebook? Because maybe I didn't put it on this one. Maybe I put it. I know I saw it in one of the groups today too. I'm just trying to find the three pieces of it. Hold on, let's see here.
Does that seem unusually short for the Supreme Court?
I don't think so. Because they're really focusing. Here it is. Oh no, that's the other one. Dang it! All right, I'm gonna go into. Let's see. This is. I know it's in here. Hold on. I'm sorry, guys. It's only 3 pages long. And okay, come on. I know I saw it in this group. Oh, and by the way, she got her teeth for free too. She got them donated to her by a cancer doctor, a dental doctor.
The new ones?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what, how she said, well, they tried to say, well, that's just taken out of context in the lifetime. Nope. That's how she got her dentures. She went to a cancer dentist that specializes in cancer treatment, and she was given them for free.
Right, her original set, but
No. This
new
new
original set.
No, new set. The new set.
Wow.
the new
I
set
thought it
was donated.
I thought he was talking
Okay,
about
I've got the appeal. Here we go. Okay, so it's only 3 pages. So I'm gonna read it and we'll talk about it as I read it. Okay, so let's see here. So this was motion for rehearing or transfer. Comes now appellant Nicholas Godejohn by and through undersigned counsel. Hang on, I'm gonna share this on my YouTube so you guys can see it later. Yeah, right there. Okay, good. There you go, guys. Okay, let me go back to StreamYard and let me put this like this. There we go. Okay, so now you guys can see them. All right, so comes now appellate Nicholas Godejohn by and through undersigned counsel and applies for rehearing in this matter pursuant to Rule 8417 because the court's April 1 statement overlooks or misrepresents material matters of the law and fact. In the alternative, appellate request that this case be transferred to the Missouri Supreme Court pursuant to Rule 83.02 in light of the general interest and importance of the questions involved in this case. In support, appellate states, number 1, the court's April 1st statement holds that the motion court found overwhelming evidence of deliberation, statement P4. However, the motion court merely repeated the earlier holding from the direct appeal, which was a holding of this court. The April 1 statement overlooks Mr. Godejohn's argument that a direct appeal determination of overwhelming evidence should be examined in light of the post-conviction evidence before a finding of Strickland prejudice is foreclosed. So that's what they're using as a precedent. That's a different case. And then it says overlooks the April 1 statement overlooks Mr. Godejohn's argument that a direct appeal determination of overwhelming evidence. Okay, I'm sorry. And then it goes on to say the case presents the important question of whether all Rule 29.15 Strickland claims are pre-decided when the direct appeal court holds that the evidence of guilt is overwhelming. Okay. So part 2. So basically in that he's stating that they just upheld the previous appeal without considering any of the new information that his lawyers submitted, especially not the new information that they submitted to the rebuttal piece of this. Okay, so that's basically what that's stating.
All the new evidence.
Right. Okay, so this is number 2.
Is this to the Missouri Supreme Court or the United States
Missouri Supreme Court. Yeah, it said so in the first paragraph.
That's what I caught. I just wanted to double check.
The court's statement holds that Mr. Godejohn failed to prove prejudice because Dr. W. never testified that Mr. Godejohn's autism spectrum disorder prevented him from deliberating or acting with cool reflection, statement paragraph 4. However, the statement overlooks the fact that the lower court prevented the experts, both at trial and the post-conviction hearing, from testifying to the ultimate issue on the deliberation element. When Mr. Godejohn challenged the trial's court's interpretation of 490.065 on direct appeal, this court did not decide whether the experts could testify to the ultimate issue on the deliberation element. The court now holds that testimony on the ultimate issue is required for Mr. Godejohn to meet his burdens. But the court leaves open whether such testimony would be admissible under 490.065. This case presents presents the important question of whether a diminished capacity expert can or must testify about the deliberation element under Missouri law. So, this goes right back to the offer of proof. In the offer of proof, the prosecution was telling the defense, "Hey, you're a fucking expert? Yeah, they suck. And they can't speak to this because he's not an expert on autism spectrum disorder." Well, they, in their own words, in Nick's appeal in November of last year, when Dan testified and all that happened, they even were called to the stand and they say, well, we didn't even consider looking for somebody for autism spectrum disorder. We didn't even know. How could you not know when the entire offer of proof is about that?
The prosecution, Dan, he testified and said, no, the person we used was not qualified.
Right. Right. And so here's the thing with deliberation. Deliberation is the difference between first and second degree. So if he had gotten second degree, then he could have got the possibility of parole. Okay, it would have been 20 to life probably, but with possibility of parole. But instead,
5 years extra that was added on.
right, okay, but that would have been served concurrently, or concurrently as with consecutive. Yeah,
Yes.
that concurrently, not after. He wouldn't have had to do the life and then 25. He had to do life and then that was being served at the same time. So after he served 80% of that, and then he would probably be eligible um, for parole at that point and could go before the parole board. The deliberation
Right.
is the biggest factor in all of this. And I really truly do not believe that he could understand the consequences or the even the ability to actually fully deliberate, because you have to prove that they fully understood deliberation. I don't think he did. I do not think at all that he did. And I think that they violated his civil rights the second they didn't stop questioning him when he was in there with Mahali. And that's why I've been talking about wanting to get laws changed for advocates to be required to be on in staff on at the police force at all times and be watching anything for at least a few minutes, whatever, to sign off and say, yeah, I think this guy is okay, he's fine. Okay. So
now, will he have to get new attorneys since this is going before the
I don't think
Missouri
so.
Supreme Court? Okay.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. That's a question I would have to ask Amy. I really don't know. So I'll ask her and we'll get back on that. Okay, so basically,
a lot of people don't know that he had 25 years also tacked on
yes.
to that life sentence.
And see, he was originally offered a plea deal twice, but he turned it down because he really truly believed he was going to get a lighter sentence for what he did, because he thought he was doing the right thing. He thought he was saving her. He was saving his child. He was defending his child, his wife. He thought they were married in a hand fasting ceremony. Like, seriously, she did a number on this dude, okay? But the deliberation, the only reason they got him on deliberation at all is because his attorneys failed to keep him from doing an international media interview, because he was upset that Gypsy was out there just telling her story all over the damn place and making him look horrible. Yes, his child. He believes that she was pregnant at the time. Yes, his child. So he is, he thought he would be able to get maybe 15 years, but the deliberation in that video, that international video, that's what they played in open court, where it was the devil on one side and the angel on one side, and the angel said, take her and run, and the devil said the bitch is dead. Well, that's what they played to get deliberation. They did not have deliberation until then. So that's another error, that his attorneys did not keep him from the media. They could have asked a media gag to have been put on him. If he wasn't listening, they could have done all kinds of things. But no.
Yes, that interview just sunk him.
It did. 100%.
And he
My
should
goodness,
not
we're
have
just
been
blowing
doing
through
any
these.
interviews, especially without the presence of an attorney.
No, absolutely not. He shouldn't have. Absolutely not. No, definitely not. You know? Sorry, I'm setting up a new live goal. We just keep blowing through these goals. I didn't even know that was a thing. We never did that before, but hey. Right. Right. And they didn't use any of the videos that they should have for her sending to him. They didn't have all the text messages because they stopped their investigation as soon as she decided she was taking her plea deal. And that was long before she signed that plea deal. You know why she had to wait for that time? Because they had to finish Mommy Dead and Dear so she could turn in the freaking medical files so she could get her plea deal. Because up until that point, nobody was buying that shit. Okay? Because all they had was a fraud investigation. But anyway, so that's deliberation. That's one of the biggest parts of his appeal. But number 3, it says finally, the court's April 1 statement overlooks Mr. Godejohn's argument that Dr. W's testimony would sway the jury on the deliberation element, regardless of whether Dr. W was allowed to testify to his ultimate conclusion on that element. Dr. W's testimony that Mr. Godejohn was experiencing turmoil due to GB's programming of him as an autistic person is enough to undermine confidence in the verdict. The plain meaning of turmoil negates cool reflections, even if Dr. W was barred from affirmatively stating that Mr. Godejohn did not coolly reflect. This case presents the important question of whether autistic people who are manipulated into unaliving meet the definition of deliberation under Missouri law. And wherefore appellant respectfully requests rehearing on this matter under Rule 8417 or in the alternative transfer to the Missouri Supreme Court under Rule 8302. So that is the appeal that he has filed.
How many days they have to respond?
I do not know yet. I just saw this recently. So no, I don't know. Now, I really think that this turmoil is because they did testify that he was under turmoil and duress. And he was being groomed and manipulated. And what they said, I like their answer here, programming of an autistic person.
Yeah, I mean, she worked on him day and night
for 3 years. 3 years.
I mean, that's...
First, she got him to fall in love with her the first year. Then she told him the truth. And then she set out to do more. And he's not the only man she asked. He's not. That's the thing. And it's really upset. There is a petition you can sign, but not sure it was for his last parolee. It might have been, or if it's a new one. Those petitions, I'll be honest with you, those petitions do absolutely no things. Okay, those change.orgs, unless they get thousands and hundreds of thousands of signatures, they don't do a damn thing. If you want to help Nicholas, the person you should be writing to is the Supreme Court and the governor.
And we have that information posted on our group page.
Yep, and we've been posting it on our all of our socials as well. Thank you guys for the love. I so appreciate it. Okay, so I think that covers everything I wanted to talk about. Did you want to say anything else about his appeal or anything else about Gypsy?
No, with the appeal, we got the decision back on the first.
Yep.
That they had denied part of the appeal, but not the part that included all of the new evidence.
Right.
And now we see that he's put that to the Supreme Court now.
Right. Well, he's asking for one of two things: either a retrial in the state for the lower court to do so, which would be, I think the Supreme Court ruling would have to be made for them to do that at this point. I could be wrong, but that's what I think this reads as. Or to transfer it straight to the Supreme Court. And I do believe there is a chance for him to get a diminished capacity sentence. At this point, he is diminished even more while being in prison. And so, at very least, I would hope that he would be transferred to a prison that is more equipped to help him psychologically, at least. Thank you guys for all
Yes.
the gifts. We appreciate all of the love. Absolutely.
Um, it's just, and now, we see, like, okay, are we going to have to get new attorneys, or how long do they have to respond? There's a lot of things right now that are up in the air, but I'm just really hoping that something goes positively in his direction. And I will say that dealing with people that are on the spectrum, I can see by pictures and interviews and things like that he has regressed
Yes.
while
Yes.
being incarcerated, and that's not uncommon for someone with autism or someone on the spectrum. If they're put into high stress situations, for them to regress, even a change of environment can cause regression.
Celeste, no, everybody has a certain amount, especially on like a capital murder or a schmurder charge. They have a certain amount of appeals. This appeal is his appeal to the Supreme Court, and I don't know if he gets more than one appeal to the Supreme Court or not. I have to look at Missouri state law to see what they say, and I'll talk to Amy about it and ask. But at this time, yes, and he's lost his mother. Stephanie never saw him again, and she passed away tragically.
And he's lost his younger brother.
He's lost his younger brother. Yeah. Yeah. She took 3 lives that day, at least. At least. So, I mean, it's just sad. It's sad all the way around. There's enough reasonable doubt in the case, first of all, to even question whether he unalived anyone at all. Okay, let's just be honest. Because he could just think he did, and he didn't. I mean, there's enough reasonable doubt on that crime scene itself, from the crime scene photos itself, that there is just nothing makes sense in that crime scene, not one thing. And so, somebody said that they were worried about him coming out in one of the Facebook groups, and they're like, he should be somewhere where he can get help. We don't want a guy like this. They've seen him since, or read his letters since, and I've read those letters. I have the emails. Okay, but here's the thing, guys. It doesn't matter how deranged you think he is in the head. If he didn't, we don't know what's happened to Quinn, but he doesn't have a relationship with him, I'm sure, because I mean, he's just a young boy. He was a young boy when all this happened.
Charles took Quinn and moved away.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go. See, so okay, so but the thing is first of all, I'll be honest, I'd trust him out in the world much sooner than I would trust her. I think she's way more dangerous and diabolical. Okay, and she's way more prone to fly off the handle and do something like this again and reoffend. I don't think he is. I really don't. Yeah, he talked big when she encouraged him to say he's a 500-year-old vampire that likes unaliving people. Yeah, I don't think that's his thing. I really don't. I think that was a big talk. He even said it. I waited 26 years to unalive someone. I hope I never have to do it again. Like, he feels remorse. I see no remorse from her. None. Not a single thing. Yes, she was all about fairy tales. That's it, Neon Bombshell. You're right. That he wasn't intimidated. Crime scene makes no sense. I have very few room. Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it just comes down to, no matter what, he didn't get a fair trial. And if you believe in the justice system, then you have to believe that everyone is to be afforded a fair and unbiased trial with a due process in the certain amount of time and all of those things. And if you don't, then you're a problem, because then what happens when this happens to somebody that you know? And wouldn't you want them to have all the fairness of a trial and get the right treatment if he needs some, or be not convicted if he didn't do anything. Wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't you want that? Because if you don't, then don't be in here, because I am all for fair trials, and I believe our justice system has needed an overhaul in that manner for a very long time.
Yeah, and that's what we're saying. I mean, we're not saying, oh, let's put him, just let him go into society.
Right.
That's not what we're saying. We're saying he deserves a fair trial,
And if
just
he's
like all of us.
and if he's diminished capacity, he deserves to be somewhere that they can take care of him. And that's the thing. Like, even if he were to be paroled, necessarily, he wouldn't necessarily be paroled out to society for the whole time. He could have conditions of being paroled to an inpatient treatment facility. He could be just given the opportunity to go to a hospital type of prison that might be better for him. Now, I question the insane asylums for the criminally ill. They're pretty bad, scary places, but there are other things that could be happening for him. But moving on, I want to talk a little bit about Quiet on the Set now. We had the 5th episode come out on that on April 7th. And yes. I mean, I know you were disappointed, Sarah, but it was pretty much what I expected it to be. And I have heard that they are doing more episodes. We just don't know when. I don't know if they're going to do a season 2 or if they're going to add some more onto this season. I know they had a limited budget when they started. So,
from what I read,
Quiet on the Set.
They said that not to expect any more episodes. However, they said that their cameras are up and rolling, and we're probably going to be going with maybe a season 2.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. And because there's so much more to unpack, I mean, and this one really upsets me.
I guess what I was looking for was more of a reckoning. I wanted Drake to be able to sit down with them and look at them face to face.
Right.
And that's the impression that they gave in the commercials, that's what they were going to do. But
I didn't think it was going to be. I knew it wasn't, because I just don't think they're all ready for it yet. I don't think they're mentally prepared, because none of these kids knew who it was. They didn't. The only people who knew were the people in that courtroom that day. And on his side, it was his mother and him and his brother. And on the other side was all the people Brian Peck got to come in and support him. And he stood there and told all those people off. He did. He was a 15-year-old boy, and he stood 10 toes down against his attacker, his abuser, and all of his insane amounts of people supporting him, which is just disgusting, and blaming a child for what happened. I could not believe the letters I read, and you all know that I was very shocked by 2 of them. And I'm going to talk about this for a minute, because I've been accused of lying about knowing Brian Peck or any of that shit, because he doesn't have a credit till 1999.
I had a moment where I snapped this week, guys, because of the comments that were made about this.
Quiet on the Set is the Nickelodeon stars. Go ahead, keep talking, Sarah. Quiet on the Set is the Nickelodeon stars that have all come out against the SA charges.
He was probably unsure that he could control himself, because, I mean, he knew that Brian Peck was after his son for years. And it also caused a great divide in the family. After he found out what happened while Drake was under his mother's supervision, they were not on good terms with each other. So that all could play into why his father was not there that day.
Right. Well, Jules, Size of the World, you said the doc filmmakers also exploited their trauma as well as with the doc. Okay, so you know what? This is something that I've been calling out in the true crime media for the last 7 years, 8 years almost now. that there is no truth in true crime reporting and true crime documentaries. And it's very upsetting because it's very much how we got Mommy Dead and Dearest, Gypsy's Revenge, Lifetime Confessions, all of that. And it was completely false and all lies. Just like Candace Owens just did a huge freaking exposing the making of the murderer documentary filmmakers. And as I've dealt with the true crime industry, I have found more and more and more and more that that even the documentaries that we watch, we can't really trust all the facts or anything because they all just take a narrative. And I do agree that they exploited them. And you said that a few people have spoken out about it. I agree as well. Do I think it was a decently done documentary? I do. But I think that anytime you're dealing with this, you know, we are really at a point in time in history where truth in journalism almost doesn't exist anymore. You have to turn to people like us, independent, reporters for truthful representations of this. And it's upsetting.
Right, and I know that you want, were you wanting to?
Hold on a second, Celeste. Let's not dust under the rug the extreme abuse Drake caused young and underage women. Well, yes, I know children that were abused tend to do the same. Celeste, okay, first of all, that's incorrect. He did not. There was one accusation of it, and he pled to that because he did have an inappropriate conversation with a underage minor, but he did not know he was having a conversation with an underage minor. And as soon as he did, he stopped. That is the story that I know.
Is he took 100% full
responsibility.
And he told the truth, and he said he was lied to about her age, and they were able to prove that she lied about her age.
So
to try to form a relationship with him, but after what he had been through, I think it made him feel racked with guilt and shame.
Absolutely. He admits that. He admits that it did. And he felt horrible. And he felt like, oh my God, I've turned into the predator that I was trying to expose. Like but that does happen. You're right, Celeste, it does. Children of SA many times grow up to be people who SA. So same thing with DV. Children that grow up in a household with DV, generally the girls end up in a relationship where they are again DV'd, and the boys generally end up being DV abusers. So yes, that's very, very, very
we can say
similar.
The same thing for families of alcoholics and families of drug users.
Yes, absolutely. Fancy, I agree. In journalism, people are scared. My pain hurts so bad, and we're in a system where it's more convenient to ignore. I'm a CSA, 4 to 10-year-olds as a child. I see it in boy and girls. No, several women did not come out, to my understanding, Celeste. One girl. That is it. That's it. And I can see how much it traumatized him. Yes, absolutely. I have seen that. I don't know. Celeste, do you know where you're getting your information that there were lots of women that came out? Because as far as I know, my daughter, who's followed this very heavily, and Sarah knows, it's only
Drake
one.
Drake even said himself that there was only one girl.
Yeah, and Drake has said that as well.
Drake
so if you're
only ever talked about one woman.
So if you could give me some information as to where you found that it was several women, I would be happy to look into that. And if I'm wrong, I will correct myself. Okay, so I am too, Kayla. This is something that I this is a tough one for me. I even had to prepare myself to sit down and watch this because it has been something that has been prevalent in our family. Several of my family members, including myself, have had SA, and so it is very hard. And when it's talking about children, and especially in this situation, because when it's a family member, I mean, okay, that happens. There's it happens more than you ever want to know. It's the most likely, okay, but there was a few women on TikTok. Well, I don't take women on TikTok as being
How
truthful.
recently?
I'd have to see, but I will go look it up for you. Okay, Celeste, and
How
if
recently
there's
have
more,
they come out after the
I don't know.
documentary is what I'm
yes, that's what she said after the documentary. So I don't know, but I will look into it. Okay, no problem. So anyway, um, but anyway, what I'm talking about with this is that, you know, in the position
No,
that
Max. Ken is not the Wolverine guy from the act. And that's something I wanted to address earlier. Guys, if you're basing your opinion about Gypsy or anyone involved in this situation off of the act, please don't, because it is so fictionalized. The character that played the Wolverine was representative of Dan Glidewell, the man that was 35 years old, married with 2 children, 20 years older than Gypsy, that she had an affair with for numerous years. So, no, that was not Ken.
right. Okay. So anyway, okay, but in this position, in this situation, okay, Brian Peck, or Dan Schneider, and is it Brian Handy? Is that the name? Brian Handy?
Jason Handy.
Jason Handy. Jason Handy. Brian Peck and Dan Schneider. They were all in positions of professionals that are supposed to be ensuring that there is safety on this set, that the children are properly educated on the set, that they don't work that past the labor laws, and all of those were all violated, all of them. And these are men in power, in a situation where children are looking up to them. And these children, several of them, were responsible for providing money to their entire family, for providing financial gain to the entire family to provide for themselves. I'm not talking like lavish lifestyles. I'm talking about getting their families out of poverty. So these children have these adult roles, and it is very, very, very important that all the people that are around them in professional setting are 100% held to the highest standard when they are dealing with the future of our society. And they were not.
Why did they network hire Dan? Because he was a hit show creator.
Yes. And even after all of this, they still continued to hire him. He still is on retainer for things. He still gets put on sets. Brian Peck, after getting 16 months in prison for essaying Drake, 1 year later he was back on Zach and Cody.
It was not 1 year.
Yes, it was. It was 1 year later.
I thought it was like months.
No, it was 1 year later. I looked it up. So listen, but here's what I started to say when I talked about this. So apparently, because Brian Peck didn't get any credits on Boy Meets World until 1999, and my IMDb only has maybe 4 episodes that I included in there where I was a featured extra, not just an extra for the day, because you don't put those things on your IMDb when you're trying to not be an extra anymore. I mean, I know you guys don't know how the industry works, but that's how it works. You don't put those things on there. But I was on there for many years. I knew those kids for many years.
Yeah.
And I do believe that I met Brian Peck, that he was on the set because he wasn't working as an actor. He was working as a voice coach, a PA, all kinds of different things. Because in the industry, that's what you do. You do all kinds of different jobs until you make it bigger and you get in the union or whatever union you're trying to go for. I do remember him on the set. I remember his Hawaiian shirts, and I remember him being inappropriate. And if you read the 2 letters from both Will and Ryder, they say that they met him much earlier than 2000 and whatever you guys think, or what, 1999 that you guys seem to think.
1999 is when he got his first acting credit for Boy Meets World, but he was on the set of that show for many, many years prior to earning that credit, working as, an assistant. He was a handler for these children. He was working as a PA. I mean, he was
Growing
in
Pains was before.
this industry around these children
Right.
for more than a decade. And
Because he was a dialogue coach all the way back to Growing Pains. In fact, Alan Thicke and Joanna Kearns both wrote him letters. And they were quotes.
It's very disgusting because if you watch the
His inappropriate
documentary,
behavior with Leonardo DiCaprio, yes.
he was working with Leonardo DiCaprio, and they showed Drake's
Yeah.
father a clip of him rubbing Leonardo DiCaprio's arm and back, and he said, "That's exactly what I used to see him do to Drake."
And when, I don't care how much I don't like my husband, my ex-husband, but if my ex-husband were to say to me, I don't want my children around this person at all alone because I don't trust them with them, I would take that serious as serious could fucking be. Because you don't mess around with your kids. But she was just too damn lazy to bother to freaking, take him to his auditions and the set. So 1 week after him his father saying, "Don't ever let him do that," he's in Brian Peck's car spending the night. Like, this is unbelievable. Soda.
And
In that cup with ice and cherry soda, my cherry Coke, please, or cherry Pepsi.
so right now there's, I'm dealing with a personal attack that's going on by some content creators because they basically invalidated every child's claim of abuse.
Yes.
And
Prior to 1999.
Prior to 1999. Oh, he didn't get his acting credit on that show till 1999.
Yeah,
He
fine.
wasn't on there till 1999. No,
Yeah.
ma'am, I'm sorry, but you don't know the way Hollywood works. That's not
how it works. No. He could be uncredited for so many different freaking things. And if you're not with a major agent or anything like that, you do your own IMDb. I had to do mine until I got my agent, and then he was working on it, and then I don't have one now. So if I add credits, I have to do it myself. That's what independent actors have to do. And so, just because you guys seem to think that I lie all the time and you think you catch me in some, I don't know, dumbass bullshit lie that you twist my words or take one word out of context that I said differently and seem to think that makes me a liar, well, it doesn't matter. I'm sorry. By doing so, you're negating these children's experiences. You're not coming at me. You're making that be less important than you just trying to make me look bad. Like, seriously? You're some really sick individuals. Just saying.
It absolutely infuriated me, and
Yes, you could, Celeste. Yes, you could.
I was more angry than you were.
I know.
Because I was just like, do you not see they're calling you a liar, but they're also invalidating all
Those
of
kids.
the other thousands of kids he came in contact with.
Right. Because we don't know how many kids he actually essayed. We don't. Many of them, even Will and Ryder, have come out since and talked about grooming, and that they realize now that they were. The TikTok that I used to have was taken because of the Clown Club, but I'm now at Spicy Red 92. So that's where we are for now. And then we're going to create a new Good Wives Network soon. Okay? So anyhow, I just feel like this is such a topic that's needed to be discussed for so long. This is not new.
This documentary came, to you, it had a two-pronged effect because of your experience in the field and then your daughter's experience of being fans.
Right. This broke her heart. Like, it was very hard for us to get through all 5 episodes. She's going to come on and talk about it at some point, but we just have not gotten there yet. I mean, this was very upsetting to her. She remembers
of at CSA as well.
Right.
It's harrowing for me to realize this was only adding to the trauma that I was experiencing because while I was experiencing, because that was the time periods I was experiencing the CSA that was actively going on in my life.
Right.
So when I was trying to escape from that abuse, I would then be watching other children be SA'd for the point of my basically SA, because what they were doing to those children was making them film. What is the sensitive word for TikTok? Prawn? Cheese pizza.
Cheese
Let's
pizza.
just say that. They were making those children make cheese pizza and then circulating that cheese pizza to other children who were actively going through CSA.
They essentially groomed an entire generation of children.
So it makes it worse to think about that there are children who had CSA going on in their own lives, and then they were watching that as their escape from that at CSA. It's kind of just, it kind of almost seems like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and it's a slap in the face to you. Right. It's a slap in the face. And then, I will say that really the feet pics is what blew me away.
Yes.
When
I remember this, and I was livid. Abby came to me, and she was like, "Mom, can I?" And I was like, "No, absolutely not."
Amanda Bynes has been done so bad. She's been done so wrongly.
She was your daughter's speaking true.
But yes, when they asked these millions of children around the world to send in their feet pics.
And the worst part of it is we've never seen those pictures.
We've never seen them.
They never announced a winner. I watched Nickelodeon religiously when that contest was going on because my mom wouldn't let me enter it. So I wanted to figure out which child did win so that I could have some kind of envious living vicariously through that child.
And see, I think they ran that multiple times.
They did.
Because there was a contest and there was also a follow train, which makes me wonder about that follow train. So basically you were, I know, but basically they were highlighting children's feet pics for pedo to follow.
Right.
To follow them.
First thing I asked you was, did they ever declare a winner? And you said no.
No.
And then we looked at it again, and I said, well, this is giving them access to these children's social media.
Yes. To stalk them and groom them. They groomed an entire generation of children. And the sad thing is this has been going on all the way back to when Shirley Temple and Judy Garland were little.
And then people wonder why our children are increasingly, when they enter their teenage years, our children are getting very hypersexual.
Exactly.
This is the hardest thing for me to admit. I was 4 and I knew what SEX was.
Kayla wants to know if you remember the contest to dry the smiley face on your toe.
What I'm saying is you said, I wonder if there were multiple. There were, Mom.
I thought
they didn't just do it for iCarly. There was one for the Amanda Bynes show where they did the same exact thing. I think there was one for Zoe 101.
Probably.
And then there was one for iCarly. There might have been one that they tried to hold for Sam and Cat, but it didn't go.
Well, that one I wouldn't even let you watch.
Right.
I wouldn't even let her watch that one.
I'm not sure if they did for Sam and Cat, but there were 3 separate times that they had a sweepstake of children sending specifically their feet. And you guys have to look at something called "Do You Think You're All That?" It's something that they held for all that for people to be the next cast members. And the girl that won is a clip of a little girl sent in a clip, and the clip is literally about 5 minutes long. Her holding two sausage links on forks. The entire clip is just her singing, "I love sausages, I love sausages, I love sausages," and she won. The second place was just a 5-second clip of a girl showing that she can put her foot behind her head. And her privates are not cropped out of this video. You can see her pelvis when she puts her feet behind her head.
Yeah.
And that was aired on television.
inappropriate.
It's so
inappropriate.
highly inappropriate.
The second one was for iCarly. I love sausages was for all that.
Okay, thank you.
Listen, Dan not only did such inappropriate skits with these children that were so sexualized.
Like the shot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And everyone on set knew what it was, but the kids didn't.
Right. But he also tortured his staff, especially the two
Yes.
women.
Yes. Yes.
Staff writers.
But the thing is I kind of hold them all responsible for not speaking out and protecting the children. I understand that they would have lost their jobs. I get that. But I'm sorry, these are children. And they knew exactly what was going on.
The only people I really think you can't hold that for are the actors that were trying to protect the children.
Right.
Like Jerry Trainer.
Like Jerry Trainer on
Because
iCarly. Yeah.
He couldn't have spoken out because he knew he'd get fired and then there would be nobody
To protect
to
them.
protect the kids.
Right.
So people are bashing him, and I can't remember the actor's name, or it's Henry Danger. I can't remember the adult actor in that show,
Mm-hmm.
but he also plays a similar role in Nickelodeon today, where he kind of is the buffer between Dan and the children. We've been seeing clips come out from those sets where he literally yells at Dan, "Get off the set! You're not allowed to be out here." Dan is no longer allowed on sets.
Right. Right.
And the cast members know that.
Right.
He is no longer allowed on sets because they're doing an active investigation towards him.
And then that interview that he sets up with, remember you told me about the interview that he did? Okay.
He set up an interview.
Yes, I saw the interview. He looked horrible.
Well, hang on. Listen to what Abigail has to say.
Not only did he set up the interview, it's someone who was an extra on iCarly, a featured extra for multiple episodes, who played the character named Tebow. I do not know the actor's name, but if anyone watched iCarly, it was the black man at the smoothie shop that always had a stick and was like, "Do you want a taco on a stick?"
Right.
Or "You want a blah, blah, blah."
I know what you're talking about, yeah.
It was that guy. He always had something on a stick. That was Tebow. So he hired that man that still is hired at Nickelodeon, has extra jobs at Nickelodeon today.
Mm-hmm.
So he still works under Dan. He paid him to do this interview, and Dan admits that he wrote the interview questions and his own script.
So he's still manipulating.
So he is still manipulating the narrative that he is portraying, because he wrote the questions in a positive light towards himself and then answered in a positive light
towards himself. Yeah. Yeah.
He did not want.
Oh, and all he said was, if I made any child do a prank that they were not comfortable with, then I apologize.
And that was only after addressing the Dare show, the show that was like
Right.
Double Dare.
No mention of essay. Just if I ever made a kid feel uncomfortable doing a dare, I feel terrible and we shouldn't have done that.
But I didn't put inappropriate jokes in children. He did say if adults are looking back at it now and seeing that.
Right, they're looking at the kids are looking back at it now as adults, and so they have an adult lens, so it's totally different.
But you had an adult lens while making those shows, Dave.
What? I mean, are you kidding me? On when they did like the Dare show, which was kind of like they covered them in thugs and they covered them in all this gross stuff, and then they made.
Hey, Abs, can you grab my computer
boy
cord,
put on
please?
the leotard, covered it in peanut butter, and made dogs lick it off.
He didn't even have a leotard on. He was in a Speedo. The boy was shirtless.
Can you grab my charger?
Oh, he said he was in a leotard.
No, I thought he had.
No, he had a leotard, a skin flesh colored leotard.
I see.
Yeah.
No, that was for another sketch.
Well, maybe then there was a different one. I don't know.
When we were putting the peanut butter on him, he was shirtless and he was basically only in shorts.
Oh wow.
But the the skin suit, the morph suit that he was in that was skin colored was for a sketch on all that was called Lil Fetus. He was a rapper that was a fetus.
Yes, I remember that.
Rapper.
Yeah.
Those were two different bits, but he was basically naked for that dog bit.
Yeah, and he talked about the leotards a lot, and his mother talked about the leotards
He was putting
and how she
leotards
felt
multiple
uncomfortable.
times, but not for the dogs. He
I got
was
it.
basically naked.
I will say on the kind of the 5th episode reunion special they
Yeah.
did, I really thought that the best part of it all was him reconnecting with his mother,
Yeah.
because she had stood up for him and was the mom that was in the back with all the other
Yes.
moms, but she was the only one raising hell
Right.
and saying no,
Right.
my kid's not going to do this or that. And so for all of these years, 20 years, he's blamed his mom for ruining his acting career. But now they sat down and watched the documentary together, and they have finally repaired their relationship.
Right. Right. That is great. And that was the most heartwarming thing of the whole thing. Like, it was very heartwarming. That's what I meant to say. It was very, very touching. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that they were able to do that. This is a story that's going to continue to keep developing. I think there's going to be more and more stars that come out. I do think that Disney stars are going to start to join the thing. I think Disney, honestly, I think they just have better NDAs, to be honest with you. And they didn't set out to groom our public children. I don't feel like their shows did that. The Nickelodeon shows did, and it was like, I knew, because I would tell her to turn it all off all the time. If I was walking through and I would see something that I just didn't think was appropriate, I'd be like, turn this episode off. I don't want you watching this.
When you watch Disney,
Yeah.
I think the difference between their dirty jokes
Mm-hmm.
is you can tell when you watch Disney, they do put those jokes in there with the intent they will fly over kids' heads, and it's for the parents.
Yes.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
We're
when
actually
you
going
look
to be
at the
talking
guy,
about Diddy here in a minute.
when you look at Nickelodeon as comparison,
Then
you see that those jokes, he even says it himself, I wrote jokes for children.
right.
I wrote
But they
jokes
weren't
that I
jokes
thought
for children.
that children would think were funny.
But no, you wrote jokes
So
to groom our
when you
children.
look at it that way, the Disney one seems so obviously for parents because it's so far and few between.
Yes.
This is almost every joke,
And they're
has
not
an innuendo behind
right,
it.
and they didn't have sexual innuendos. They were adult jokes that adults would get, but they weren't like that.
No.
They weren't sexually like that. No.
It usually was something more. It was something adult, but never something outright sexual.
Right.
And if it was something very, very surface level
100%.
that children wouldn't pick up on, but an adult would. But even as a child, I got an uncomfortable feeling watching this because when I started to get older and I did start looking for those things online,
Right.
as I started to explore my teenage body, I realized those were jokes for people that already know what these things are.
Yes.
And they're putting them at. Why are they trying to make us understand? Because they were dumbing them down for the kids to understand these jokes. They were putting them in a situation where the kids would understand. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The kid,
Yes.
as a kid, I would understand. These are not jokes for me.
Right.
I don't find this funny.
Right. Okay, guys. Well, yes, you guys just mentioned P. Diddy. So, Cat Williams did the Club Shay Shay podcast, and his famous line was, everyone is being exposed in 2024. And let me tell you, when I think that everyone is being exposed in 2024, I think he was right, because it's just coming every damn day. Somebody else, there's another scandal, and Diddy ain't gonna go down quietly. I'm gonna tell you what, he gonna take everybody down with him if he hasn't already turned state's evidence.
Well, it's very suspicious, that first of all, no one can explain why Homeland Security was involved and led the raid.
Right.
So that's suspicious.
Well, okay. Well, think about that. It's not suspicious if you think about what Kelly went down for.
Right. If what trafficking
Right.
would
He
be
didn't
the
go down
reason
for
why.
for underage girls. He went down for trafficking.
Right, and that is why Homeland Security, that's the only reason why they would be involved.
Right.
But as of right now, he has still not been criminally charged with anything.
Has he even come back to the States yet? I'm not even sure.
I think he's still in the Caribbean, but now his son is facing, he's got a lot of allegations against him, and there's possibility of his son being arrested, which that may be a way for them to try to take him down, to go after his son.
What?
What about?
And then of course we have
Yeah, it's the same thing.
No, I'm saying
the situation with Kris Jenner.
Right. Kris Jenner supposedly has fled the country. Oprah has supposedly gone crazy and is trying to do all kinds of damage control. I mean, we have been seeing celebrities and public figures exposed left and right. I mean, left and right. And I fully believe that this has been a trafficking ring for years and years and years of the elitist. I think it will all end up, somehow connecting with the Epstein trials, which, by the way, I just want you all to know, no one has ever been convicted of anything in the Epstein trials except for Jeffrey.
But what was he trialed with?
I'm not even sure he made it to trial because he did he make it to trial, Sarah? I can't remember. Did Epstein actually go to trial? No. So he wasn't convicted either. Ghislaine,
No.
I don't even think has been convicted yet. No, we don't
were.
even know all of them. No, because they didn't finish.
Trafficking.
Well, yeah, we know that. Where are the
Right.
girls? There is a video or a circling around of Epstein Island where the tennis courts are, and there's something like 90 big, huge, like what appear to be grave holes dug underneath the tennis courts. Yeah. So this is huge. I mean, I think, but do we really know what was going on with Kris? No, the only thing I know is that they said that they supposedly found video footage that linked her to the Diddy parties and some sort of, bad acts. I don't know.
And if you want to relate Dan Schneider into Nickelodeon into trafficking, people also think that they play a part in it because who's the actor on Victorious? She played Jade.
I don't know.
With the black hair.
I don't know.
Well, at the time of filming that, she was 16.
Yeah.
Right? And she had a love interest, or they introduced another character at the time that they met. This actor was 23. 16-year-old, 23. Right?
Right.
The moment she turns 18, he's 26 at this point.
Right.
The moment she turns 18, they start dating. They get married like a year later.
Yeah.
And they met on that set. Dan Schneider specifically introduced them.
Well, what do you mean? We've also got DiCaprio.
Exactly.
His girlfriends get younger every day. I mean, it's so bad so that we're making fun of it at a freaking award show like it's just hilarious. No, that's not funny. I'm sorry, it's not funny.
We actually need to look at why.
Right, like that's not okay. Anyway, Sarah,
let's. I think we've got that covered, and I think right now, with Quiet on the Set, we're just gonna have to wait and see. They said the cameras are still up and rolling, and
Well, I'm thinking there's going to be some court cases that come out of this too.
To be exposed.
Yeah.
And then as far as Puff Daddy, his housekeepers and friends and girlfriends posted videos of his homes after the feds and Homeland Security went through them, and they trashed those houses. They took them to the studs.
Well, I was also watching a video of everybody gives Kanye like this bad rap and everything, that he's like crazy and all these different things, right? And I don't doubt that he is, okay? But there is a video where Diddy is at a party at Kanye's house and his two children are standing, like they're on the upper part of the lawn and his two children are standing down here on a lower part of the estate. And Diddy is walking up and Kanye comes around like at a beeline around all the people and he looks like he is freaking livid and he's like, no, you stay away from the kids, no.
I will say, I don't think Kanye is a bad
there's
dad.
No,
I don't know
he's
if
just a
you guys,
weirdo.
if you follow Cat Williams, you'll know when I talk about raccoon eyes,
Uh-huh.
what I'm talking about. And
Mm.
he's been claiming, Puffy of participating in homosexual behaviors.
I don't think we can say that.
Okay.
Alternative lifestyle behaviors.
Okay, yes. And it's funny because he'll say like, well, you can tell because of his raccoon eyes. And I was like, what in the world is he talking about? And he's like, yeah, that's why the dude always wears sunglasses. And apparently there's some kind of substance that is taken and used during these events to try to create more satisfaction.
Yeah.
And it leaves these rings under their eyes.
Hey, be careful what we say. My 3-year-old just walked in the room.
Mm-hmm. Oh, let me tell you what. I have no respect for Usher whatsoever.
No, neither do I. Nor his wife.
He just settled his last settlement for passing STDs to women, numerous women, and he just settled the final lawsuit right before he did the halftime show. And he claimed in court that it was the woman's fault because they should have told him to use a condom, even though he knew he was a carrier.
Wow. Celeste, I saw that video of the release, but what I understand, it's actually an old list that is circulating from the 2020, like
it was his 40-something birthday
party list. But the reason they're recycling it is obviously because it's pretty prominent of the names that are. Some names are probably on there, and there's nothing. And then there's lots of names that I'm sure on there that is going to definitely, lots of things are going to come forward about those people. Like you said, if Diddy want a party, you got to say no, Cat Williams. I mean, Justin has been telling us forever, and now he's got this new single out. I mean, it's shocking. He held no fucks, like none. He went right for the jugular.
Well, I know that I have read the interview where he's stating that it have a smug problem and it was due to Piddy's influence.
No, that was Justin. Justin just released one called something about a Diddy party. He was in it for a Ferrari, but he didn't know how deep it went, and the girls never walked right again. That's what he said. It's his new single. So I don't know what AI did.
Justin Bieber?
Yes. You leave Diddy's parties before the devil gets there. Interesting. The devil's already there. It's Diddy. Yeah, right?
So now we're looking at, they're not listing yet possible charges. I think they're trying to keep a lid on this to try to catch as many people in this trap as they can. But it's really only a matter of time before something's going to happen.
Right. I mean, the names that have been listed connected to this raid. We've got Jay-Z, Beyonce. I mean, there's so much coming out. Love, I don't know what your question is. Can you ask again? Gypsy? Are we talking about someone about gypsies?
No,
If you mean-
we're not talking about Gypsy right now. We're
If you
talking
mean
about
Gy-
Puff Daddy.
Well, hold on. If you mean Gypsy Rose Blanchard, no, we're not talking about her right now. We talked about her much earlier in the evening, and it will be on a replay in YouTube because it's already being broadcast there. But
Okay, we have two Dans we spoke on. We talked about Gypsy's ex, who is Dan Glidewell. He's 52, currently 52 years old. He has absconded from the police and is wanted and on the run. Now, the other Dan we talked about was Dan Schneider, who was a writer, producer, and director for Nickelodeon and all of these other children programs. And what he did is unforgivable.
you know what? I don't give a crap what I call him. He's gone by Puff Diddy. He goes by P-Diddy. Puffy Combs, Sean Combs. I don't give a shit what you freaking call him. He is not a good dude. How about that? How about that?
I actually saw him and the family on world tour when they came to Nashville in 1998, and he is a little bitty
Will
guy.
Smith, Jada
He's
Pinkett, French Montana. You're right.
They're upset about
You know,
what you
most
said.
celebrities are a lot smaller in person than they look on TV because, the camera does add 10 pounds. But he's a really little dude.
Yeah, I mean he's really not big. No. Yeah. He's tiny. He doesn't. I mean, when I saw Kanye coming at him and him walking up to Kanye and Kanye and him coming at, I mean, there's like
And
a
Kanye's not a
big guy either. No,
So,
but there was a lot of difference between him. Mhm.
I can tell you I've
Exactly.
seen him with my own eyes, and,
Yeah.
and he's a smaller guy, but I'm seeing a lot of references and similarities in the news right now between him and R. Kelly.
Okay, hold on a second. I don't know what's going on over here. Get your goat and any of my mods over here on YouTube. Can you figure out what's going on between these two people that are somehow getting upset with each other? I don't know what's happening. So I don't know. I thought that the person said that she liked my sweater. I didn't think that she was like complaining about it, but I don't know. No, there's two people very upset with each other. I don't even know what they're upset about. So I'm asking my mods. No, it's like been going on for a while and I didn't see it, and now I'm not going back that far. So my mods will take care of it. I like the sweater. What does that have to do with the okay. All right. So I don't know what's going on, but let's just try to be respectful of everybody in the chat and let's be nice. Thank you very much. We do appreciate every one of our viewers. And she's not a child and it's fine. Oh my Lord. And don't call me April. Okay? You don't know me, so you don't get the right to call me that. I don't even know who you are. So perhaps maybe keep your
kid.
my grandson. Yes, we all knew that my grandson was seen. Thank you. He was seen earlier tonight too. Who cares? Wow. Okay. Back to what we were trying to talk about.
Right. What I was getting ready to talk about is Alec Murdoch.
Yes. That's the last thing I'd like to discuss tonight, and then I'm gonna hop up here and hopefully my husband might still be awake that I could get a kiss.
Yeah, so what happened with Alex Murdoch was another April Fool's Day
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And so I knew that something did not sound right from the beginning when they said that he would. Okay, so if for those of you that don't know, he was facing federal charges of fraud and embezzlement and everything from his law firm, and he'd already pled guilty to 22 state counts and was sentenced to 27 years. He is in the appeal process on the murder charges of Maggie and his son Paul, and due to the clerk's involvement in persuading the jury, there's a very good chance that he will get a retrial. And so now we come to the federal counts that are against him.
Mm-hmm.
And they said a lie detector test was allowed in the case. That made no sense to me, because we all know that lie detector tests are not admissible in court.
Right.
And they can be flunked and cheated, and there's this is why they're not admissible. So I was very shocked to read that. And so I wanted to do some digging on what's going on with the lie detector test. And it's about one of the craziest stories that I've ever heard. So the feds made a deal with Alec that if he would be honest and truthful and tell them about all the money that had been frauded, because currently there is $6 million out there that they can't find, that has been unclaimed, and they have not been able to locate it. So they told him in federal court, if you will tell us the truth about everything and cooperate, then we will have your sentence run concurrently, which means at the same time.
Right.
As the 27 years. And so he agreed he would be honest and tell everybody everything. So
Right.
they come in, right, and
Mhm.
he's not been properly prepped by his attorney or anyone else. And this man came in to give him a lie detector test. And basically, he did everything he possibly could to throw the test results.
Right.
He came in and started chit-chatting with Alec and talking to him about how he had just come from doing a polygraph on Vandersloot, the man that was accused of murdering Natalie Holloway.
Right.
And so he's talking to him about this case, and and then he even went so far as to tell Alec, hey, I just want you to know, like, I think you're innocent. I don't think that you were responsible for Paul and Maggie. So he goes on this big tangent with him prior to setting up the test, and
wow,
trying to sway Alex's personality and his mind and get him to be his friend, in essence. So then he goes ahead and conducts the polygraph after he's already gone through all of this, which was completely, it has to be illegal, to discuss another court case like that. But that's what happened. And he actually, the questions he asked Alec were designed for Alec to fail. There was no way for him to pass. It was a lose-lose question. So he failed the lie detector test. But, of course, they have the video of him doing this. And they came forward and they're just like, the lie detector test needs to be thrown out, because here was the deal. Now they filed a motion that says, okay, he swore that he would tell us the truth on this federal embezzlement, and in exchange, we would give him a lighter sentence to run congruently with the other 27 years. But since he failed the lie detector test, now the deal is off and he's completely screwed. So now they're going to give him the max sentence, and they're not going to let it run congruent.
So that's 67 years total just for the fraud.
Right.
That's a life sentence for him.
Right, but now they're going to put they're adding more things to it now because he failed the polygraph test.
That doesn't seem right at all.
No, it doesn't. And that's what his defense attorneys are saying, is like, first of all, it's not admissible in court. And then the defense comes back and says, yeah, but we cut a deal with him. If he tells us the truth, we'll give him a lighter sentence to run concurrently. And he didn't tell the truth because he flunked the lie detector test. Well, how could he possibly pass a lie detector test when the questions were set up for him to fail? And prior to even starting, this man was working on his head, talking to him about the Natalie Holloway case, talking to him about how he supported him and, didn't believe he did anything to Paul and Maggie. So there he's trying to build a rapport and gain Alex's trust.
Well, I mean, okay, that's something that they can legally do. That was done in the Chris Watts lie detector as well, because she came in and she questioned him and talked with him before she went in and gave him the polygraph. So she did the same thing. So that's not illegal. They can do that. But the admitting it to,
I felt like it was very unethical.
right, sure, I understand the unethicalness of it, of what you're saying. I get that. But what I'm thinking is it just doesn't, they've never been allowed in court for any reason whatsoever, because they're unreliable in many, many ways. Like you said, you can fake a lie detector test. It's very easy especially if you're like a sociopath or something like that, or you're prone to lying and you do it like with ease. You can change the results of those things. It is absolutely perfectly known that you can beat a polygraph, but they've never been allowed in court. So I can't understand how they did this.
That is exactly, and that's why I've been like a dog with a bone on this lie detector test, and that's what I kept telling you.
Hold on one moment. No, Kayla Whitshire, it isn't illegal to show someone else's medical records when you have their permission signed and they gave them to you. And if you swear to God, if you say HIPAA one effing time, I'm going to lose my shit, because it does not apply in any way, shape, or form. And if you're just here to cause some problems, you will be shown the door. Thank you. Have a great one. Okay.
Okay, so like I said, I'm like, I have to get to the bottom of this lie detector test, because these are not admissible in court. How are they using this on this federal case against him? And it was one of their terms of condition that he be 100% honest with
that them. That just seems like that would have mistrial all over it.
You would, yes, absolutely, and especially with the fact that they have the video showing that this guy was, really, really wanted to be Alex's friend. He wanted to play like they were buddies, and he confided information in him on the Natalie Holloway case, and it was just. It was so wrong all the way around.
Right. Right.
To get the questions, because his attorney, they were not. The DA was trying to keep them from seeing what the questions were that he was asked, and they have finally got a hold of it, and now they're filing motions to have it thrown out.
Well, yeah.
But prior to that, so on April 1st, the judge and the DA basically said, well, you promised to cooperate with us, and you didn't. You failed the lie detector test, so now you're going to get the maximum penalty.
And see, something about all this with him just doesn't sit right with me, okay? I 100% believe he committed the fraud. 100%. I do think that the doors were closing in on him. I do think that he was making bad choices at that point in time. Do I think that he was addicted to 60 pills a day? No, I do not. Anybody who's addicted to that many pills a day would be dead on the floor. I'm sorry, okay? And he would have massive withdrawals. He is not. So no, just like Gypsy Rose, that's not, no, hello, that dog does not hunt. Okay, but I do believe that he was very frightened of how much money he was going to lose from Paul's upcoming trial in the Mallory Beach incident. Now, do I think that he himself did the unaliving? No, I don't. And I also don't believe that they proved it in a court of law. That freaking Snapchat from 3 minutes before their phones went dead is not sufficient to me to prove that he was there, that he did it, that there was no gun splatter on him, there was no brain matters on him, there was no nothing. None
It
of
was the
that.
gun
No gun
residue.
residue.
The gun residue that really
Yeah.
got it for me.
Now, do I think that he could have hired someone? He might know who did it. Sure. And see, I don't even think that Maggie was supposed to be a target. My opinion, in my opinion only, allegedly for entertainment and educational purposes only, the thing that I believe was the reason for Maggie being there is for Maggie to find Paul's body. That's what I think. I don't think he even remotely thought that Maggie would be down there. She didn't normally go down at that time. She didn't like going down there because it was dark. There was a lot of reasons why I just don't think that was the plan for that specific incident. I do not think.
And you know, I see where you're coming from, but also at the same time, there were two guns.
Right.
You know, two different guns were used, and the fact that two different guns were used,
Pew pews, pew pews, pew pews, pew pews.
I'm sorry, pew pews, one on each victim, leads me to believe that they did plan for her to be there, because at that time, she and Alec were not living together and were not getting along, and she had not been to Moselle, and she told her sister, something's up. He's asked me to come down to Moselle. Something's not right.
Yeah, she didn't like Moselle anymore. She did not like being out there anymore.
Her cried on the stand and said, that was their last conversation.
Sure.
That we're saying, Alec needs to talk to me, so I'm going to go down there to talk to him, but I really don't want to go.
Right.
And they were having very severe marital problems at that time.
Right.
And I believe that a divorce was imminent, and he's not going to lose half his money.
I don't know. I mean, I just really don't know. In my opinion, there's just not enough evidence that they collected that proves one way or another. There's just too much reasonable doubt for me. If I was on that jury, I would have had to vote not guilty by reasonable doubt. I would have. There wasn't enough evidence. It's the same thing that happened with the Casey Anthony case. I would have, based on what the DA put on and what the charges were and what he was asking that jury to come back with, there was no way the jury could convict her on first degree. There wasn't.
Exactly. And the jury said, that is in that situation, that's where the DA got greedy.
Yep.
That's where the DA got greedy and went for Van 1 and all these other charges, and they couldn't prove it. However, if she had been charged with second degree, or if she had been charged with second degree or manslaughter or something along those lines, they said they would have found her guilty.
Right.
But they went too high. They soared too close to the sun there, and instead of going for manslaughter or second degree murder or something like that, they wanted to go for the ultimate, and they just didn't have the case to prove it.
Right. But I feel that applies in this case as well. I just think there's too much reasonable doubt.
The Southern Girl, let me answer your question about the housekeeper. The housekeeper was employed by the family, up until she passed away. She had been with them for 20 years and had basically, raised those boys. And her boys were friends with them. They grew up together. And what happened in her tragic death was this is what they claim, as she was walking up the brick steps to the house, the dogs got excited and charged her, knocking her off balance, she fell back and split her head open on the step and fell down to the concrete. They immediately called 911, and unfortunately, she developed a brain clot and passed away. However, where it's shady is the fact that Alec had a life insurance policy on her.
No, he had insurance that would cover accidents on his property.
That's a separate thing though. No, he did have life insurance on her, and then he also had insurance on his property. That if anyone were to be hurt or injured or killed on his property, then he would be financially responsible for it. So he went and talked to her young sons and said, "Don't worry about anything. I'm going to handle it, and I'm going to get you your mom's money."
Right. File a wrongful death file against us. Right.
What he did was he sued himself. And I believe that he gave the boys, he told them that they were only entitled to like $200,000 to $250,000. That's all that he told them they were entitled to. They did not find out until the fraud investigations that he'd actually been paid out like $4 million for her death. Her name was Gloria Satterfield.
We obtain the insurance money. Yeah. Okay, you're right. In a wrongful death lawsuit filed a month prior, he alleged they had received none of the proceeds from the $4.3 million settlement they said Murdaugh arranged in secret. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Exactly what I said. So they were shocked, when they were told, okay, there's going to be $200,000 available to you guys, and they never saw any of it. And when they would question him, he would make up excuses and, legal jargon. And I know one of her sons is on the spectrum. So they were really clueless as to what was going on. And then it turns out after the investigation begins that he collected $4 million off of her passing away, and they did not see any of it. And they were actually there at his sentencing on Monday.
Right.
Gloria Satterfield's children
and
family were there, and they gave witness impact statements.
Oh wow.
Against Alex.
That's awesome.
And so now we are at the point where, because they claim he didn't tell the truth about all of the assets, and he didn't reveal where the $6 million is, and primarily because he failed the polygraph test, now they're saying he reneged on their deal, so they're throwing the book at him.
I mean, I don't know. Something is not right in that area. I mean, let's be fair. The Murdaugh family is not a well-liked family.
I mean, they've been a dynasty, a
right.
legal dynasty for 100 years.
In the court systems.
Everybody has gone to them. Plus, they were the prosecutors for 100 years.
For 100 years, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a case that I want to look at more. I'm going to put a FOIA in because we're going to cover it in detail. Because I mean, it's got a lot.
As far as the state, 27 years. He pled guilty to 22 counts of fraud and received 27 years in that. I do believe that he'll get a new trial on Maggie and Paul, and he better not take the stand again if he has any.
God, no.
That was the worst thing.
That was the worst thing he could have done.
But in his narcissistic brain, he was like, I've been, conning juries for 40 years. I can get this one too.
Right.
And it just completely backfired on him, especially with And what everyone takes away from that testimony is the family annihilator phrase.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about that. It's very interesting about doing coverage of family annihilators.
Yes.
What that is and what that means. Yay!
By the way, we hit our new goal too, so that we've just blown through all the goals tonight. Thank you guys so very much. Yeah, there's a lot to this case.
I'm like, I want some goals.
They've been sending you stuff because you've got 633 little things there. So
I did get some roses and some puffs, and I appreciate that.
aw, Amy's sending them to you now. You guys are so sweet. I love you guys.
Somebody send me a universe. No, I appreciate it. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Like I said, the roses and the pups, it's really sweet.
They are super sweet. We appreciate them. Well,
But
guys.
now, back to Alec. I mean, it's now this 40 years that he's facing federally. I don't see how they cannot throw it out when, they reneged on their deal based off of a rigged lie detector test that's not even supposed to be admissible in the first place.
Right. I mean, we're going to see a lot more from this case. It's not over by any means, So, yeah, but there's a lot more to discuss on this, but it's getting rather late, and I would like to go get a kiss from my hubby. So
cover one more topic before we get off, and that would be the passing of O.J. Simpson. Can I just say my piece?
Yeah, I'm going to go give my husband a kiss and see if he's still awake. But I mean, I have my own thoughts on OJ. There's a lot to say about OJ and that case and what he's doing right now. I mean, the executor of his will has come out and stated that it is his mission to make sure that Ron Goldman's family gets nothing.
Yes,
and that was upsetting to me.
Listen, he made that statement right after OJ had passed away, and he said, he's apologized. He said, I was speaking and thinking with my attorney brain instead of my executor of the will, because he is the executor of the will now. And he apologized for saying he was going to make it his mission that Ron Goldman's family received nothing. But if you go through it all,
right here in front of my door.
OJ put all of his money into a trust fund when he updated his will just a few months before he passed away. And in that, he set up a trust fund. Now, as the executor
He's
of
awake,
the
but
will,
he's almost asleep.
the executor of the will determine, they're in control of,
Right.
of the what we would call probate. So he did apologize. I know it heard me fancy, but he has issued a public apology for the attack that he made on Ron Goldman's family.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was in the heat of the moment. Where in California, when someone passes away and there is a probate and a trust, you have certain levels of people that get reimbursement or get paid from whatever's left.
Right.
And it's generally, first is going to be the funeral expenses.
Right.
And you pay the lawyer expenses. And they go on so on and so forth down the line. As of right now, the wrongful death lawsuits against him by Nicole Brown's family and Ron Goldman's family, they are 8th in line. So they have to wait 7 more people before them to get paid out before they can even attempt to try to get paid.
Sad.
We both know by now that there's not going to be any money left because he owes another one on the top list is the IRS and taxes. And we know that he owes the IRS a lot of money.
No, exactly.
So they're 8 and 9, and now he's saying if there's anything left when you guys come up, when it's your turn, when you're number 8, if there's anything left, I will, try to help your family get the money that they deserve.
Oh, so he's now saying he will?
What?
He's now saying he will?
Yes.
Ah, I see.
He made a huge apology and to Ron's family. And if you recall, when this happened with OJ, we did not have that son of Sam law. So it was illegal for him to profit off of his crime.
No, we did have the son of Sam law back then.
So he worked around it.
Yeah, he did.
In that book, If I Did It.
That was ballsy as fuck.
Yes. And who in the world thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, like
So,
I can't even.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest idea ever.
So anyway,
No problem, get you.
So the Goldman family sued his estate back when that book was published,
Yeah.
and they are in charge of that book now. And then they actually went in and did major editing on the book, and they included their own section about what had happened and what they had gone through.
You're right, Celeste. I feel so bad for Ron's family. OJ did everything he could to not give them a dime, and it's sick. Yep, I agree.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And, a lot of people were hoping that he would make some kind of deathbed confession.
Nope.
And he did not.
No.
And
No.
it's funny, these celebrities like Caitlyn Jenner comes out and says, good riddance.
Right. Right.
Because Caitlyn was there when she was Bruce Jenner.
Right.
He was newly married to
Chris.
Jenner, and they attended the entire trial, all of those weeks, and she sat with Nicole's family.
Well, yeah, because Chris was best friends with Nicole.
Yes,
They were very close.
So it was very difficult on the family because of the fact that the kid's father was representing, as far as they knew, his Uncle OJ. That's what they called him.
Right.
And their godfather. So, it kind of put a big divide in the family.
Yeah.
And so now OJ's gone, and Robert's gone. And Johnny Cochran's gone.
Right.
So people are like, well, everyone that knew the truth is now gone.
Did you see Cato came out?
Yes, and I will say he did send his condolences to Nicole's family and
Right.
Ron's family as well.
Right.
But the White House, I mean, getting ready to do a national press conference, and someone a reporter from the audience said, what's your thoughts about the passing of O.J. Simpson? They said they were very saddened to hear the news, and their thoughts and prayers and well wishes would be with O.J.'s family. Now, what about Nicole and Ron's family?
Yeah.
And also, they could have very easily said, yes, we are aware that he passed away, and we have no comment at this time.
Right. That would have been the better thing to do.
Right.
I mean, I can't even. Why would a reporter even ask that? That's like the dumb. I swear to God.
Well, one of the people that testified against OJ that used to be friends with him is now speaking out, and he is a retired LAPD officer. And right after it happened, OJ wanted him to come over so he could talk to him, and he was basically kind of feeling him out.
Mhm.
He asked him, like,
Right.
how long does it take for a DNA test to come back? What can they find on DNA test? And then they
Yeah.
And he was asking the officer, the retired officer, what goes on with these polygraph tests. And then he tells the officer, well, I refused it. I'm not going to do it. But little to this officer's knowledge, OJ had gone ahead and done it and failed miserably. And he tried to say the reason he failed was because he used to have thoughts about unaliving Nicole.
Wow. Wow.
So I thought, I mean, that was very interesting that, and this officer testified against him and said, based on what he told me, what he shared with me, with his feelings and thoughts, along with the way that I've watched him interact, and, I have no doubts in my mind that he did it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, it's almost time for us to hop off here. We've got about a little bit more time. My husband's already crashing out, so I would like it if you guys would like to hit the box for any questions of any of the cases that we've covered today, or if you'd like to talk about them or have something. I'm doing really well. Thank you, guys.
I have a question for you, Nancy. I know there's been recently, and again in this month, updates with the Delphi.
Yes.
When are we going to be discussing that?
I would like to try to discuss it next week.
Okay.
I just haven't been able to catch up on it yet because of that.
Are we still planning on doing an evening live on Friday?
Probably, yes.
So it'll be approximately the same time.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know, when are you going live next?
Right.
What are we going to be talking about so we can look it up?
Great. Hi, Lily. Hi, Buckley. Lily, you've been waiting a long time. So did you have a question, honey? No? Okay.
Is she we lose her?
I don't know. She's not answering, so... Oh, shoot. Now I made her big by accident. Dang it. All right. Buckley, what's your question? Are we having a problem with people hearing? Buckley, are you there? No. Okay.
I didn't know I could press the button.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Okay. No problem. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, I'll be happy to take them. I posted the StreamYard over here. You guys can pop in the box and ask questions and do anything like that. We will be talking about Ron's family when we cover this case more, and talk more about the OJ situation, because I do want to talk about it more. It's an old case, but it's a good one, and it sets a lot of precedents. And
that's what I was going to say. It was really the crime of the nation, because
yeah.
of the fact that we just gotten Court TV as a network.
Right, and there was a lot that played into that. I mean, we had just come out of the Rodney King beatings and all of the rioting and all of that. So it was
that ties right into our story that we're covering on the Menendez brothers, because
right.
The prosecution there took everything out on them,
right?
Because they had egg on their face from OJ. I mean, they literally started jury selection for the Menendez brothers' second trial 8 days after OJ was acquitted.
Jeez.
So they were like, we gotta win one,
right?
And
right.
sorry, it's gonna be you guys.
And I thought she was highly unethical. I really do not like that prosecutor at all. I don't like her attitude today in the different documentaries I've watched. I just can't stand her. I literally cannot stand her.
Well, I think my anger is focused more at the judge.
Sure.
The judge completely took away their self-defense.
Yeah. No, not Marsha. Not her. It was the other lady. I don't remember the other.
Had brown hair, and then in the documentary, right
No,
now.
Marsha was the OJ trial. No, not her. No, the one on the Menendez brothers trial. I know the act is mostly fiction, but I'm stuck on the older man Wolverine. No, he's not. Oh my God.
He seems to be real. Okay, guys.
No, he's not.
That was Dan. That was Dan Lidewell.
That was based on, but Dee Dee didn't have like a significant other than possibly Dr. B, but
No, they're talking about, the older man.
right.
Who plays
No, that's Dan.
in the act, had a relationship with Gypsy. And we believe that that older man from the conventions was actually Dan DeWitt Glidewell, who was Gypsy's first serious relationship. They were into a lot of really hinky stuff together, and he is currently absconded and on the run from the police.
Right. And he's looking at a life sentence now if they ever find him, or if he hasn't already turned informant or crossed the border. I don't know.
Either they know where he's at and he's a narc, or he's fled the country.
Fled the country.
Has to be one of the two.
All right, guys. Well, I mean, I think somebody asked if the Menendez brothers knew about what was happening with Menudo. I think it's come out that there was some conversations between them and one of the Menudo boys, something like that. I remember. I can't remember what's come out.
Roy Rossello was a member of the band, and he was essayed by the manager and Jose Menendez, who was the president of RCA Records.
Yeah.
Who actually went to the same college and university that I went
to. So Danae noticed that several members of Menudo oh my gosh. Danae came to me and she was talking to me about several of the members of Menudo having the last name Menendez. And she's wondering if any of them, yes, it's a very popular name, but she's wondering if any of them were actually related to Jose.
There's, we won't know for sure. Another thing that's very sad about this is a great number of the Menudo band members have unalived themselves.
Yeah, that band was so weird. I just never got into it. I couldn't get into them.
It's because they changed the boys every season. You were on there from 13 to 16. 12 you started, and then full on 13. And then once you hit 16, it was out the door with you. Right.
Okay, well,
that, but I did want to ask, and we'll be talking about Delphi because there are updates on that.
Yes.
And we are still working on the Natalia Grace. The only reason why we haven't been able to get to it is because of health reasons, and all of these other news things just popped out.
Yeah.
Of nowhere.
Yeah, we were putting together all of our content for the week. Then we both got sick, and then like the world just went bazonks, like just woo.
Speaking to everybody, I wanted to ask you guys while we were on here, for any of you that got to see the full totality of the eclipse, what did you guys think?
It didn't get very dark here. I was on live when it happened. So
yeah, it got extremely dark where I am.
It got gray here.
This year for the 2017, and I can tell you that this one was much more drastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually cooled off outside.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm also going to try to update on some of the Daybell stuff because Chad Daybell is now going through court, and there's some of those different things, and there's some of the different cases from the pandemic that all got held over in the court systems that are now starting to resurface. So we'll be covering some of those. and going back and talking about some of the cases that we were following during that period of time. Megan Boswell, Lori Vallow, Lisa Snyder, Leticia Stout. Those are all starting to finally go through the court systems and get some, justice for them. So that's good.
And then, are you still doing Crystal Rogers?
Yes, I'm still doing Crystal Rogers.
In the morning?
Yes, in the mornings on our Rising Crime. Next week, I'm hoping that it'll be, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, unless something, knock on wood, happens, at 11:30 a.m. That's what I'm trying to shoot for, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm still doing those, and we've got the book coming out at the end of this month. We've got our other book and our
Derby.
and the documentary coming. We've got a live coverage of the Derby coming. Right now, we're working on trying to get media passes. It's just been hard because they're so busy right now because it's the height of their season, and we didn't think about it till it was too late. So we'll either be live on Derby or we'll be live at home on Derby, celebrating and covering and playing games and giveaways and things. We'll have a lot of fun.
If you guys have hats, send us your pictures.
We're gonna do a best hat and a best dressed contest. That's one of the things we're gonna do.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do that on TikTok and Facebook.
Yeah, I've got some games. I've got a lot of stuff for it. So.
So we're not the competition will be on Facebook and YouTube.
And TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So we get all media platforms then.
Yeah. It'll be on those. You can send them into our Instagram. You can send them into Good Wives Facebook page. You can send them into tipsforgoodwives@gmail.com if you'd like to participate. We'll be putting out some more information next week about the Derby coverage that we're going to do. So yeah. So we're excited.
I mean, my life revolves around the Kentucky Derby. If you guys don't know me, you don't know, but I am a huge racehorse enthusiast. That's my thing, and so I live for the Derby and the Preakness and all of them. And right now, they're all doing their pre-Derby runs to qualify. And also, Louisville is in full swing right now. If anybody wants to come to Louisville, it is party, party, party. I mean, they party for fun.
Yes, they do. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in and dishing true crime with the Good Wives. Make sure that you follow us on all social media at Good Wives Net. Follow us on Patreon for inside documents and special conversations and all kinds of goodies in the Patreon. Right now, we're still doing our Gypsy Rose bingo card. And we've been putting a bunch of different information in there. There's lots of stuff from before, from the other cases we covered in there. There's even some lives that Colleen did back in the day that are historical. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and we're working on trying to figure out exactly what else we'd like to do for you guys, because we didn't have a huge Patreon following before. And then we're also working on our own membership site for our website. We've released a bunch of new merchandise, and there's a bunch of blogs and all kinds of stuff over there at thegoodwivesnetwork.com. So please come back and join us again. And I hope that you have a blessed rest of your week. Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. And I will also be posting now that Fancy's out of jail.
I was in Facebook jail for 30 days.
Oh, it went by fast.
It did. It did. But like the last 4 hours, I was like, I just want to post something.
Yeah. So I know she'll be posting things because we didn't get a chance to talk to you guys really about this question and interacting. Shoot us some ideas on some cases you're interested in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If there's cases that you'd like us to look into, please go ahead and share that with us. If you have any questions, concerns, ideas, tips on any of the cases that we cover, you can send those to tipsforgoodwives@gmail.com, or you can hit us on any of our inboxes on any of our social medias. All right, guys, have a great evening. Bye.
Bye, guys. Be safe out there.
Bye, guys. Love you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.